Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business, like that.
Oh, I don't mind a little rain on my suit. A little bit of anger makes you cute. And we've been watching this show so long.
My life a story, I'm trying to find the glory. Got them all sleeping on me, my haters out here dying, snoring. Why they mad that I'm finally growing, and they see me fighting for it. What they wanna get involved for, I kill them all off until I'm enormous. Cause 9 to 5 is boring, grinding 5 in the morning. I'd rather make music, get paid for it, die with a fortune. And my ride is foreign, every whip I drive imported. Anybody know me, they know, for this game, no, I'm dying for it. I'm on now, give me that crown, yeah. Ain't nobody out here really wanting with me. I'm going hard while you falling asleep. I got it all cause I deserve it all, y'all. Just being honest, they don't wanna see me honest. I'm taking over this game now and that's a promise. They out of pocket, they don't wanna believe I got it. Give me that crown now cause I'm the king, call me your highness. This life a movie, I'm a motherfucking star like Clooney. From dusk till dawn, I'm a loose sleep. I ain't tryna live broke like you be. I've been coming for the bag, I do me. Will I get paid? Absolutely. Cause you better knew a boss like Takeoff. I ain't left all bad and bougie. Heard them talk, they barely knew me. I ain't let no stranger fool me. When I came in the game, y'all showing that fake love. I ain't look past your jewelry. Now this ride is foreign. Every whip I drive imported. Anybody know me, they know. For this game, no, I'm dying for it. I'm on now, give me that crown, yeah. Ain't nobody out here really wanting with me. I'm going hard while you falling asleep. I got it all cause I deserve it all, y'all. Just being honest, they don't wanna see me honest. I'm taking over this game now and that's a promise. They out of pocket, they don't wanna believe I got it. Give me that crown now cause I'm the king, call me your highness.
Welcome to the LXC.
And the ranks rise up, League of Legends pride, amateurs unite in LXC.
The tier 2 inner doesn't fall, but there's a lot of congestion over this Drake here. As we see Riley's House able to get in, but we see the Glacial Prism land onto center here. 3 members are on Ulu Slayer, but it's not going to be enough as in the back, Riley's House found angle onto Robust Octopus, right? They're able to get the kill, and Kaneki is trying to force. Vendetta and Riley's House did a great job of getting out these carries, right? You aren't able to go in with these fights if you don't have the damage behind it. And Austin's able to pick up a double kill. It looks like it's going to be his triple. It's going to not be his quadra as Ulu Slayer picks up one for himself. But right now, that is a clean ace.
Characters are even more squishy.
We're seeing some aggressive trade. Actually, massive solar flare there from the side of Leona. It lands on 3, and right now Ulu Slayer is getting stopped out. Kaneki able to ult in, finishing off Ulu Slayer there. And on the backside, Robust Octopus is doing a lot of damage over to Riley Song. But onset, he's gotten the ultimate off of Mendep. Is able to land a massive 3-man E, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Onset has the damage. He's able to get the shutdown, but right now that ends up being a 5 for 2. Going to be pumped up as actually there's a pretty good hold of the defense here, but we see that the ultimate lands onto Yarlet here. But we see a massive shove. It hits 2, but the cage is going to stop him from coming in as Undead is brought on the side. But there's so much club going on as Viego and the Viego is able to get the kill. The Abs is able to get the there's the kill. This is not what you want to see. Ends up being a double kill, an absolute disaster for Robus, and I don't think he's going to be able to get that kill as Vendetta picks up the triple kill and absolutely puts on a performance here. As we see, the side of Cage Monkeys are going to be...
LXC we play, Emerald all the way, victory in sight, shining in the night.
The Crusader quarterfinals. We're going to be showing Clown Gaming Blood Moon versus the Cage Monkeys match tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Super excited. I'm Vish, and joined with me is our guest today. Say hello, guest.
Hey, I'm Sarcasm. I actually played in the league, and I'm here today because they were missing a caster. So,
Yes, so he's come to chit chat. I'm filling in until our actual play-by-play caster shows up. He is obviously on his way home from work, and that will be Righteous. So yeah. So, what do you think about the matchup tonight? I know Genetics talked a lot of stuff on the podcast.
I actually didn't catch the podcast, but I have been looking at the rosters and just how the teams to have played recently, and I'm a little surprised. Riley seems to be playing for the Caged Monkeys, and he hasn't. He was listed as the top laner on their roster, and he's
Mhm.
jungling. And I'm looking at the last 2 weeks, and he also hasn't played. So, but I was also looking at the stats of both teams, and it seems like their mid laners are the strong point of both teams. So it'll be fun to see who comes out on top there. I'm assuming whoever wins mid is going to have a major impact on the outcome of the series.
True. Sorry for the dogs, everybody. They are very defending. Uh, our audio is quiet, and they're asking if we can turn up some. Fun. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to do a bazillion things at once, but yeah, no, I'm excited. I think the Wookiee Monster versus Ulu Slayer is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's definitely going to be a thing. Uh, so yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing how Resilient manages to pull off his night. He's been talking a lot of stuff in the channels.
Okay. Actually, I think I've talked to him in the chat too a few
Right,
times. I
right.
didn't remember. Yeah, I didn't remember his name because we played them the very first week. But just from I was on the opposite side of the bracket of the Cage Monkeys, or
Uh-huh.
the opposite pool, so I don't know much about them outside of just looking at the stats. But from what I remember about the Clown Gaming, they were a pretty balanced team. Seemed like all their players were pretty good, and based on the stats, even though Wookiee had the highest kill participation, everyone on their team had good damage percentage, and so I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming anyone on their team can be the focal point of their strategy. When I was looking at the other team, it seems like their mid is where they play through the most. So, and I was surprised about Riley too because I looked at his stats and it looks like he played mostly tanks top. And so I don't know what his jungle will look like, but I'm assuming he's going to be playing a tank centric jungler, like support style, not a carry jungler, since it doesn't seem to be his main role. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out.
Right, to see if he's playing off roll or what have you.
Yep.
All right. Grab this spectator link for the draft, see what they're going to be doing. So that'll be exciting to watch and see what they end up drafting and what champs are going to go where. Yay.
Yeah, I since I was running in short notice, I didn't get a chance to look at everyone's champ pool or at least their OPGGs enough to
Mhm.
remember who had what champ pools. So
Right,
I'm
right.
coming in blind here too.
Yeah,
And
like I do all the paperwork and everything, but I don't really. There's too many players for me to memorize everyone's champ pools, so it's slightly difficult for me to keep up sometimes. Um, so as soon as they're able to pop that open, then we can see who's picked. Sorry to all the people watching out there. I am not a good caster, so yeah, we're
oh,
just kind of rambling.
are you in the lobby right now? I
I
think you
am.
might need to come to spectator so that they can get in order.
Oh, am I still? I thought I clicked.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, I think it was because it was when only three of us were in the lobby, so someone had to be up there. So,
Yeah. I thought I clicked down earlier. That's my bad, everybody. I'm the one holding it up.
all right, there we go. Now I think we're just waiting for both teams to ready up for the draft.
Yeah, and our production. Okay. Okay, awesome. Sounds good. The ducks. I love it. You guys can't hear her, but that our producer was all, "How about them ducks?" And stuff like that makes me giggle. Love, love, love all the stuff that happens at the start of every match. That's when everybody needs you. Ooh, looks like they're getting ready to start draft. And everybody's ard, so we get to see what that pick.
Yeah, thinking about I'm curious. I feel like maybe this isn't that important, but when a team is pretty quick on their first two or three bands, it makes me feel like they're more prepared.
Hmm.
So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how long it takes. Well, there's the first one,
Yeah,
and that's Zeri, yeah.
yeah. Maybe we can judge the winner based on who's more prepared. And right now, it looks like
That
Clown
goes
is.
faster.
Yeah,
That goes
they're
faster.
batting faster.
There goes Viego.
Okay,
Sorry, guys. Again, we don't know their champ pool. Nope, they did changed off to Viego.
that makes
Oh,
sense. Getting rid of the mid laners champions.
I understand Seraphine. She's been pretty strong. Pretty strong.
Okay,
And
Viego
Viego
too.
returns. And we got Smolder. Been pretty fast.
Yeah, Clown's pretty quick. I'm curious what role they'll draft first. Maybe since you said Resilient was talking a lot. Okay, he
Oh yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say since he was talking a lot, maybe he'll be brave enough to pick his champion first, and it looks like that's what we got.
Yeah. Well, at least he's backing up his words.
Ezreal and the Lucian matchup doesn't sound too bad. I'm assuming they'll show their support after they choose here.
See who's going next.
Yeah, I'm assuming they want an aggro support here, try to bully Ezreal out of the lane. Um, surprised that he played a more passive ADC. Though you can play Ezreal aggressively. I think into Lucian it's a little harder though.
Mm-hmm. Again, everybody, sorry if you hear Soulkeeper on the side. He's casting the other game. I was not supposed to
Okay.
be casting. Vi. I like Vi.
Yeah,
Vi Lucian.
looks like I was wrong. He's not going to be playing a tank jungler. Going for the carry
Mm.
jungle. I like the Poppy Flex. Could be jungle mid or I mean jungle support or top. It'd be good
Lock
to
it in,
cancel
lock it
Lucian.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be a good against Lucian.
yeah, it'd be good to cancel his dash. But outside
Mhm.
of that, I think it'd be a little tough in lane. Um, then I'm assuming they're gonna lock in their support or jungle depending on where Poppy goes. Oh, they're top laner. Okay. Actually, the Poppy pick could just be to counter Vi in the jungle too, now that I think about it. Be pretty good to deal with her once she engages. We can't Q to continue a combo.
Ooh, Aso. They're letting into Aso.
Yeah,
Interessante.
this is interesting. Both teams deciding to first round two solo laners.
Mm-hmm.
Top lane
Don't
from
you
Clown.
usually?
Yeah, you usually save your solo laners for second
Yeah.
rotation. But when they're doing this, I'm assuming TCM is gonna ban two mids and then Clown's gonna ban two tops. Just so that they get matchups, more preferable matchups for their lanes that they had to pick early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, I was told that's drafting. You didn't want to pick your solo laners first.
Yeah.
Oh, no Draven, no. That's Syndra.
Yep, Syndra and Darius are banned. So we'll see
I'm
what
learning all the
happens
champ
next.
names. Look at me go. Look at me go. Going places.
Oh, and a support ban. Okay. That makes sense. Don't
Well,
want
I
to
mean,
deal with
they've
the
got.
Wish and Nami.
Yeah, I was gonna say they've got the support still to pick from. It looks like on both teams.
I'm assuming Monkeys is gonna take their support here, but I'm not positive. Actually, they don't know what their matchup bot is yet, so it could be the top laner too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Vi is jungle. Yeah.
Yep, Vi's jungle.
Oh, Melio.
Okay,
Haven't seen him
Amelia.
very much.
Looks like maybe they pivoted a little. I mean, Milio Lucian isn't terrible, but I don't see Milio as an aggressive laner either.
Mm-hmm. So maybe they're looking to play kind of more defensively.
Yeah, just a balanced lane, kind of get to team fights. So I think Milio is pretty good peel into Cassante and Poppy. And that's kind of what they need right now. I think Hui's a pretty good matchup in ASOL.
Mm-hmm.
Because ASOL stands still so long, and Hui kind of can just keep you there with his CC.
Yeah, that's definitely I think going to work out for Clown Gaming right there. What's your last pick,
Yeah,
Clown?
I think. Okay. Tom Catch support?
Mm. We've seen him as the support a number of times in the various leagues of the LXC the split. So do it, lock in the Ornn. Everybody locks in the Ornn.
Yeah, I think it's a little hard to round out the Monkeys team perfectly. But I
Mhm.
think Clown's comp is looking pretty good. Oh, and they actually go with the Garen.
There you go with Garen.
The Monkeys team actually looks a little more solo queue-ish.
It does
We'll
look
see
a
how
little
that
more
plays out.
chaotic
Yeah,
based off of what I have seen so
they're
far.
gonna look to most likely snowball. I mean, they'll have ASL rooms with Vi being an aggressive jungler, so I'm
Mm.
sure they'll have to play around that if they want to get ahead.
Yeah, just I don't know. I have very limited knowledge, so viewers that are out there, if you can explain to me the reason for this particular lineup on the Monkeys side, that would be awesome because I don't understand. Okay,
Yeah,
our producer is saying it's a feast or famine comp where if all they need is one of their various people to get ahead to win the game. So we'll see if that works out for them.
yeah. I think with the Monkeys comp, their top and their bot are a bit stronger. So what
Mhm.
they want is their mid and their jungle to roam together to each lane to snowball one of them. And with
Mhm.
Clown, I think as long as no one loses too harshly, uh, they should be fine. They should come out ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll look forward to it. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. The predictions for game one are currently live, so make sure you get your bets in on who you think is gonna win. And yeah, I'm sorry, but I love all the guys on Cage Monkeys, but I don't know that this is gonna work against Crown Gaming based on just purely based off of how I've seen the team play this split. I just I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they
I
were
could
really
bet.
strong. I'm
So
actually curious. Do we still have the channel where you can vote for who you think's gonna win that this week, or
it
was
is
that just a
locked.
regular season?
It's locked. So in the content area, there's a channel for each of the leagues,
Yep.
and it's for the playoff pick'ems. But it should be locked for Crusader right now. Let's see, who does everybody have? We have one for Clown Gaming. That one, monkeys didn't even make it. Sorry, guys. This
Oh
one's
no
Clown
no, I don't
Gaming.
mean the pick'ems. I meant the one where you react to it. We have that,
Oh
or
no,
was that
we
just regular season?
that was regular season.
Okay.
The picture pick'ems is playoffs pick'ems,
Okay.
and people can win skins off of that. So yeah,
Oh, actually, I
yeah.
submitted one, and luckily no one can talk in the chat and call me out for this, but I forgot to even pick the one of the qualifying games. Actually, I was gonna point this. I didn't point this out, but I feel like my pick'em is a little better than everyone else's because I kept the trophy in the picture. If you look at mine, I gave the clowns a little trophy. I had them at the top, but everyone else moved their logos to cover up the trophy.
Well, that's their fault. If you want the trophy, keep it on your screen, man. Keep it on your screen. All right, so we are in the prepare loadout. We're about to go into the nice spectator delay. So we're gonna go ahead and head on over to a break until game start, and we will see you start at game one.
When forever finally ends, all the promises are broken. No more fights to pick up the pieces. I left you with the parts of me I don't wanna see you again. Don't wanna write any more of our story, 'cause I know how
Now you can save on Cox Internet, helping you stay seamlessly connected to everything that makes you, you.
We met in school for the first time. Crossed your grace in loving light. Fire and flame for a long time. With that spark, you ignite my heart. You ignite my heart. You ignite my heart. You ignite my heart. The years fly by, but we can't stop to fool around and get worked up. I want you to forever stay. I mean, it's safe to say you ignite my heart. 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 You ignite my heart.
Welcome back, LXC Crusader, for this game 1 matchup. We see blue team sneaking in topside. Might be catching this Garen out if he's not careful. We'll have to see. Here comes the face check. Vendetta might just be caught out here. Might have to blow flash. And he does so. Flash secured.
Yeah, you missed it right, just but we were talking about this in the champ select. They were actually banning champions quite a bit faster than monkeys, so it looks like they were prepared to cheese them as soon as the game started too. They had a plan.
Yeah, and that flash being down is particularly big, right? Vendetta opting not to take the TP, I'm noticing, and so if things go south or sideways topside, not being able to TP back to that lane could spell a giant gold disadvantage. So we'll have to see how Abound and Jace approach this early lane. But so far so good. Lane's gonna be match up. Poppy and Vi matching clears. Both are gonna be spotted out on the Raptor wards. And looking at these matchups, right, we know Monkeys is climbing up from the play-ins, right? Repping Sector 2. On the other side, you have Clown Gaming, kind of the #1 overall seed for these playoffs. Looking very, very strong for the regular season. And when you're looking at these two teams, who do you expect to be the carries, or maybe not even the carries, but just the win conditions for each team?
I'm assuming mid. I played against the Clowns since I was in their pool, their side of the pool, but I haven't seen any of the gameplay from the Monkeys. But I did look at their stats before, and it seems like Clown had a pretty good balance of damage throughout their team, but their mid had the highest KP by a pretty large margin. And then on the Monkey side, their mid actually was their highest KP too, with actually carrying most of the damage, so it'll be a fun matchup between those two, I'm assuming, to decide how this series goes.
Yeah, I mean, last week we saw Slayer and Onset for Monkeys put up a pretty stellar performance between the two carry roles, and for Clown Gaming, hold that thought. We see Vi coming in. Actually, Vi getting the first gank, flash queuing the Jace. T1
Oh, wow.
Jace goes back in, but should just be able to walk away. Flash for flash burned.
I like how he hit him with the little emote before Vi left too.
As we see lots of damage coming through. T1 Jace being annoying, stopping the Vi back. Abound is here. Flash E into the headbutt. Riley Saw should be going down. First blood secured by T1 Jace on the Cassante, as we see heavy trading down in the bot lane. Onset going on a Resilient. Stunned up by Silver Nighthawk. Nighthawk actually able to save his AD carry and finish off Onset with the Flash and Ignite.
Wow,
Oh, we're
even
going to go
going
under the
into the tower.
tower. Maybe a little bit more than they bargained for. Able to walk out. So all sums used bot other than the Milio Flash. First blood secured for Cassante, and we have action happening on this early stage of the map.
Yeah, a lot of sums burned already. No flashes jungle or top for both teams. And flashes in the bot lane almost completely gone. Looks like mid's the only lane that's kind of quiet.
Yeah, and looking at the vision here, we have that blue ward and Tribush, so should snuff out any potential ganks from Vi, especially lacking that flash engage, right? While Abound will be matching that path down towards Dragon. We're going to see if these teams prioritize that early objective, or because all of the flashes that were burned make them play a little bit more slow when approaching that objective. Something to watch out for. So you said you played against
I played against Clown.
Monkeys. Oh,
Yep.
you played against Clown. Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I played them week 1 though, so it's been quite a while since we faced them, so
Okay. Well, thinking all the way back to week 1, how would you characterize their gameplay? You said their mid kind of, you know, highest KP kind of operates the whole shindig, but was there anything that stood out to you in
yeah,
regards to objectives or anything like that?
the biggest thing was that all their lanes seemed very strong. I don't remember any of their lanes struggling against ours, though we were the bottom tier team in the league, but even then we had some games where we had a lead and kind of fell off, and against the Monkeys, even I remember I think at some point in one of our games we had a lead, but it never really felt like we were ahead. Even though we had a lead in kills or gold, it felt like they always felt comfortable playing against us, so.
Monkey's gonna be looking to dictate the tempo even when down in gold. So far, been able to secure about 1,000 gold lead as we see Tom Kench go forward into the Aurelion Soul. Perfect use of the ultimate to fly his way out of there. Still able to hold on to the flash as well. So Slayer doing a nice job of playing around this pressure, this early map presence we see from Silver Nighthawk on this Tom Kench.
Yeah, I was surprised. That was a really good roam, but it seems like it didn't pay off at all. Oh.
Able to secure the grubs, right? So kind of showing their face as they made their way to the objective. So 2 grubs, should be 3 grubs taking for Monkeys, which pretty strong split pusher in the Cassantes. We see Resilient, Arcane Shift in. Onset, not willing to shy away from a fight, takes it to the Ezreal. Ezreal's gonna have to play very safe, if not back.
Yeah, it was surprising to see him play so aggressively when he's solo laning. Actually, when I'm forced to be down there alone, that's actually when I feel the most.
Bound with a very unique gank path. The flash over from Raptor's Pit, followed by the ult from Wookiee Monster. Not quite enough to secure the kill on Slayer, but does burn the flash. And Abound making very nice use of the Hex Flash. We see Resilient have to Arcane Shift away, use the barrier. Onset doing the same, using the barrier, trading into the Tom Kench. This Tom Kench is so difficult to kill early. Onset with no mana, being forced to back away from the unbenched Kench. Keki doing all they can to keep their AD carry alive. We see a Bound and Riley Sauce coming down. Bound spotted out by that red ward. Just gonna clear the ward and probably make their way towards that dragon with the pressure both from mid lane and bottom. But Monkey's electing to stay around. Onset almost caught out from that QW from Wookie Monster. Hwei is so annoying when trying to play safe and play back. Just with that seemingly unlimited range. Riley Saw spending a lot of time here, just I think hovering for potential dive, but it looks like Monkeys opted to back away, use the tempo to buy gold on Ezreal, and as Ezreal's coming back down to the lane, Abound's going to start up this Drake, should be secured. So far 4-0 uncontested on the objectives for Monkeys.
I'm gonna press tab to check the items real quick.
Oh yeah. You can go ahead and
Should I keep it up?
yeah.
Okay.
Should,
Excellent. Okay.
It's okay. As we see the dragons secured by Monkeys, T1 Jace trading into Vendetta, Bound showing their face in mid lane, not really a threat to Ooh Slayer, but Silver Nighthawk waiting in the wings, potentially maybe looking for a W gauge. Okay, Aurelion Soul might have sealed his fate, opting into W in towards a Bound. Wookie Monster very low, having to burn this flash as Ooh Slayer eventually goes down. Vi ulting in, and it's a 4v1. Riley Sauce flashing, trying to kill Wookie Monster, and in the end, Wookie getting the better of the two. Both a kill onto Wookie and that Poppy as well.
Yeah, I just felt a lot more coordinated by Clowns, and it felt like desperation by the Monkeys there, trying to salvage anything out of a bad situation. And usually when you're caught like that, you end up making it worse, which is exactly what happened here.
Yeah, and if we look at the gold, right, quickly ballooning to about 2.5k in favor as Monkeys. 4-0 so far, perfect game. We know how hard it is to do now with all the, the grubs and all these other objectives. Are you a if you're going for a perfect game, so to speak, are you okay if they get tower plates, or do you have to even make sure they don't get those as well?
I think tower plates is asking for a little bit too much.
Okay.
Yeah, because like when they roam to get the grubbies with their support, you're bound to lose a plate. I think that did happen. So
tower plates are still good. Yeah. Perfect game intact as Vendetta taking extremely low, but this Cassante, early Demacian Justice coming out, but T1 Jace knows his limits, able to secure that kill, and the Ignite use as well. So Vendetta, opting to take the Ignite, take the aggressive summoner spell, but it's T1 Jace with the almost, 30 CS gold lead, or 30 CS lead at this point. We take a look at the gold
looking
here,
at the gold, it's over 1,000 up.
Yeah. And I mean, Monkeys, like you said, so coordinated on these objectives. It's like they have the timers memorized. Yeah. It's like an eternal clock. Their circadian rhythms are aligned with these objectives, and even further increasing that gold lead. So
I was hoping with the Vi and the Aurelion Soul pick that they would roam together, but it feels like Aurelion
with a headbutt. It should just be a slain Uwu Slayer. The ult doing enough. Wookie Monster on this way. Gonna be a nightmare here soon. Doesn't even have his first item, and a Bound flashing in to secure that kill. I don't know if it was necessarily needed, but good on him, knowing his limits, knowing he's not gonna die to that tower. As we see T1 Jace go into this Garen, and Garen just forced to back away, play towards his tower as he waits for this wave to crash into him.
Yeah, it feels like Jace can trade at any point in the lane now, and it'll be in his favor.
As we see the root come out from Wookie Monster, get that passive proc as well. So Aurelion Soul was already feeling down, comes and loses immediate 10% HP. We see Vendetta just taking core trade after core trade, doing all he can to pick up this wave that is amassed underneath his tower. You see pings coming out on the bot side. Milio spotted out by the side of Clown Gaming. And I mean, so far, Clown has looked like just a totally just beast. They're beast moding right now. Kind of shocking to see Slayer and Onset kind of on the back foot when they've looked so well on these games so far.
It was surprising. I don't know if you noticed the thing earlier, but even when
The Cassante ulting Vendetta, and Vendetta forced to flash out. The Vi is here, but I don't think this is a fight that Vi wants to take. Stunned up by the headbutt from Abound. It should be a kill over to T1 Jace on this Cassante. Already 3-0. Gonna stop this back from Garen as well. Garen, what were you doing? Okay. Garen actually picks up the kill.
And the monkeys are on the scoreboard.
That perfect game is no more as we see the Hex Flash coming out from Abound. Unable to find the root with the headbutt. Nighthawk is there as well. Slayer forced to flash, but stays alive for this minion wave. And so far it's been Abound, you know, keeping up CS with the Vi, right? But definitely dictating the map, dictating the tempo a lot more than Riley Sauce has been able to thus far. Kind of feels like he's been everywhere. Just like omnipresent on the map. Even when he's not there, you think he is. As they look to secure this second dragon. Another objective uncontested.
Or even with the ganks, when with Vi's death that just occurred, it felt like the monkeys are a little rattled or uncoordinated. Simply like, as he came in, his Garen was running away, where you would expect that they would both be going in the same direction.
So we see Wookiee Monster for Clown trying to secure even first tower. Should go down. It's a race between top and mid. T1 Jace and Wookiee Monster vying for that extra gold, but it goes Jace's way. Slayer with the upgraded ultimate now. You know, this way that's, you know, considered pretty immobile, right? It does have the flash available to them, but you'd think that, Mike, to your point, you'd think the Vi and the Aurelion Sol would link up a little bit more to maybe abuse that. But Wookiee Monster doing their best to play towards their range, play towards their advantages, not bite off more they can chew. And so far, it's just been, you know, Vi hasn't been able to catch really anybody with this pick. And we all know when Vi gets behind, it's kind of like Nautilus, right? You only have one button, and it's to go in. And so really hard to find advantages when you're on the back foot on this champ. So we'll have to see how Riley Sauce can do with monkeys, as we see just bound every objective like clockwork, whittling down this Herald, as we see T1 Jace and the likes of Clown Gaming put some pressure on Slayer. Slayer definitely has to know that it's not just Jace and Wookiee around, and this tower will go down uncontested. And so far it's just been a lot of just uncontested plays. Like you said, the laning was so strong from Clown Gaming, it's just kind of led to a slow bleed, right? It's only 7-1 in terms of the kill score, right? But about 6k up at 15 minutes, going on a 16 here. And if you're monkeys, you know, how do you claw your way back? You know, you do have the scaling from the Aurelion Sol, but I mean, what would you like to see them do to try to, you know, swing some momentum towards themselves?
Honestly, I don't know what to actually do in situations like this. Even with the gold touch-up or the bonus objective golds, they feel so impossible to reach because you're so far behind. I guess ward up and hope that the clowns get a little too overconfident, try to dive you a few too many times. Other than that, I don't think it's as much in your control as you'd like at this point anymore.
Yep. Gotta hold on and pray. Let your Aurelion Sol scale up. You know, bring this game out as long as you can. But, you know, I'd like to see some playmaking, right? We do have the Vi, right? We have the go button. We have stuff to follow up with that Aurelion Sol ult with the Garen. And so, you know, as this map shrinks, it does offer some opportunities for these potential catch outs. But to your point, Clown Gaming, the vision score, the vision is on point, lighting up their map, slowly expanding their horizons. As we see 4 members of Monkeys down here, they're just, they're just trying to be ahead of the plays, but as long as a Bound and crew are just, slowly farming up, accruing more of a gold lead, they really don't have to force any more plays. They could just show up to objectives and say, hey, we're here. Are you gonna fight us? Because if not, this is just gonna be a slow lose.
Yeah. Actually, one thing that has been happening that maybe will favor the Monkeys a bit is that feels like the score's been sitting at this for a while, and all the outer towers are taken. So maybe this will stall long enough to where they can, even if the gold differential stays around the same or only grows a small amount, it'll
We see
become less
Uru
noticeable.
Slayer engaging on the Jace, flashing in from Vendetta. Jace forced to ult out, and Vendetta. The Demacian Justice reigns supreme in this occasion. Able to pick up a kill. Now 2-1. Despite the CS deficit, we see Riley Sauce essentially looking at a play towards Resilient. Didn't use the ultimate there, and so still has it available. But instead, we're just going to let Onset pick up this farm as Uru Slayer goes to contest this bottom side of the map. Rift Herald is dropped by a bound before this Drake. Going to be able to knock down that tier 2 tower and potentially threaten the tier 3. But it looks like it should be... Oh, but Bound's actually using it, escorting himself to this dragon potentially. And this side of the map, I mean, we see all the blue wards, right? It's just lit up for Clown Gaming, and so they know that they're taking this Drake, and they're doing so once again uncontested. Nobody from Monkeys wants to be on this side of the map, and so another dragon secured basically for free.
Yeah, since you pointed out the warrants, I don't even see any red ones. I don't know if they were all swapped or if they just are too afraid to walk out to drop them.
Yeah, Emilio is, a pretty frail champion, and so needs kind of an escort, but when your escort doesn't even have a item completed, that's not a very safe police escort from the Vi, right? Vi actually able to pick up the Divine Sunder as I was, or not Divine Sunder, Sundered Sky as I was talking about that. But we look at the gold lead and, about 8K in terms of just the raw gold. It's been the difference between Clown and Monkeys. We see Resilient take a aggressive arcane shift forward, unable to connect. But we're not. That's not even talking about the inherent stats from the levels, right? The gold stats from Drake, the gold stats from Grubs, and so this gold lead is pretty close to about 10 in terms of just stat value alone.
I actually am looking to see when Poppy will decide to back here. Even though she has a huge gold lead, she hasn't reset to purchase anything. If you look at the items, her and Vi actually have the same items. Or relatively the same items.
And Slayer actually going aggressive on a Wookiee. Wookiee forced to use the ultimate. Slayer slows him up with the ultimate of his own, but unable to find Wookiee monster as he just walks away. Doesn't even have to use the flash. No flash burn, just ult for ult trade. And that's a pretty big ultimate loss from Slayer. It's the the charged ultimate, the one that you want when contesting these objectives. And we see Clown in the driver's seat, basically just waiting for the right opportunity to take this Baron and potentially the game. We see Silver Nighthawk W's in. Riley Sauce able to queue away. And I'm gonna say this feels like an LCK team just kind of taking the right play, not being over aggressive, just showing up the objective, taking the objective. Somebody from the opposing team steps out too far, they punish. But they're not really giving Monkeys any opportunity to come back, right? They're not overextending on sides. They're not, checking, face checking bushes with no numbers advantage, and so
Even
really,
no Baron throw.
yeah,
They're
no
trying
Baron
to
throw.
push something that doesn't need to happen. I'm
Yeah,
curious what their next step is, though. It feels like we've stalled out here for a little while. Outside of the Herald taking the bottom tier 2 turret, not much has gone on since they've gained their lead.
yeah, and I think they're just slowly accruing that lead. Might be waiting until, as we see Israel actually finishes the man immune. Might be waiting for these core items to come through before starting this objective. Will be interesting to see once they do if they're just waiting for a fight or if they're so far ahead that they can just take the whole dang purple worm for free. Like every other objective so far, right? Has been
Yeah.
rather uncontested.
Actually, it is possible they're just waiting for Soul to before they try to do anything crazy.
We
too.
see Riley Sauce actually face checks into what they thought was their blue buff. And that's a jungler down. They might just force, as we see the pinks come out on this giant purple worm, Baron is the target for Clown Gaming. And it looks like, once again, it might be rather uncontested with no members, Garen being the lone exception of monkeys on this side of the map. Silver Nighthawk doing their job, acting as a moving ward, spots out the Milio. Milio not going to be able to take the 1v1 support duel. We see Garen there as well. But it's going to be a trade of top tier 1 for the Baron buff.
You
About
like that?
10k now. Do I like that?
Yeah. Would
Do
you
I
say
like
that's
that
a fair
trade?
trade? Yeah.
I don't know if it's a fair trade, but at least it's some gold. You get some objective bounty gold into the pockets of monkeys, and you need all the gold you can get right now. Almost, a 9k gold lead. We see TP coming out. They really don't want to give up this Soul Dragon, but Fnatic Deathbrush. Riley might be caught out again.
Yeah, this might
Nobody
be
wants to nobody wants to walk forward. Instead, they get mid-prio, gonna be approach through the river. Dragon about half health right now. Secured once again for free. The fight breaks out. T1 Jace going in, Abound flashing forward, able to stun up and knock back this Lucian, and it's just madness. Just one after the other going down, and really Abound, who just kind of that hold my beer went into everybody, is the only one taking lows. We see T1 Jace flashing forward, trying to catch out Slayer. Keki plays instead. The one taken down, T1 Jace able to tank this tower for pretty much forever. And it's an ace off the back of a Baron and a Dragon. And that just might be game at 25 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like it. It feels like it's exactly what the clouds were showing. What you meant before when you said they were the favored ones in this playoff bracket.
Yeah, and I mean, Onset and crew do respawn. We see the ult from Riley Sauce into 5 enemy members. Goes down immediately. Onset forces flash out. Ultimate coming through. Nighthawk just tanking it up. And that will be game 1 to the side of Cloud Gaming. Man, that was a strong one, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it felt quite one-sided.
And, for as much strength as we see coming out from Clown Gaming, Blood Moon, I mean, if you're monkeys, if you're the monkey squad that just took that game 1 beating, how do you reset? How do you respawn? What do you do in this best of 5 just to ensure that it's not a quick 3-0 for what we believe to be the tournament favorites?
So I think the biggest thing is that they picked all lanes that feel like everyone on their team thought they were going to be the carry, and I think against a team like Clown, you just can't do that. I think whatever lanes you think are having the hardest time, maybe they need to concede and say they'll play more of a supportive role, and just pick one lane where this is the lane we want to snowball to lead to our other lanes winning, and pick the carry around that and play around that lane. Because regardless of how much better you are than another team, or another player in a lane, I think it's always really frustrating when you have all the attention from the other team. And I think maybe the monkey's best shot is to do that, where they put all their focus on one lane and hope that that lane snowballs enough to get everyone ahead, and everyone else is willing to concede and maybe play a not solo carry kind of lane.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Monkeys responds in game 2 as we're loading up into the lobby here. Monkeys will have side select. And as they're figuring that out, yeah, I think I definitely agree. I think if you're Monkeys, you kind of have to dumb down the game a little bit and say like, okay, this is our carry lane. Identify the carry. Let's play to the carry lane. Because, I mean, game 1, it was the cloud gaming roadmap to success, right?
Yeah.
It was objective, take, objective, take, objective, take. Someone's caught out, kill him. There was no. It seemed like the few times that Monkeys was contesting, everything went wrong, right? And so it kind of led them to like, okay, we won't contest, we'll cut our losses. But once that gold lead was already secured by Cloud Gaming, they just ran away with it.
Yeah, and it's really hard to point out, what we might need to think that the Monkeys can do, just because there were so few moments in that game where it felt like they were the ones at any advantage. Maybe bot lane a little bit, and the support roamed. They did aggressively try to punish the Ezreal, but other than that, even the deaths late game from Jace, it was kind of like it felt like the kind of death that happens where I'm so ahead that I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing on the map right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a ferocious tempo. Cage Monkeys will be taking blue side. So swapping sides from game 1 to game 2. Um, you know, I'm a believer that if you're opting into blue side, it means you have a pick, right? You have a B1 pick that you want to build your comp around. Not a lot of positives to take away from game 1 if you're a Caged Monkeys. But I will say, Onset and Keki had, a strong performance. They didn't really do anything to lose their team the game. So if you are Caged Monkeys, are you using that B1 pick to secure a pick for Onset that can just take over the game, or what would you like to see from Caged Monkeys here?
I think they had the right idea with their mid jungle pick. I'm not sure if it's something they've practiced or that they're known for, since I haven't had a chance to watch it. But just based off the fact that their mid seems to have the highest KP and highest damage percentage, I would want him on a mid laner who can win lane and who can roam. Um, I think they had the right idea with a mid laner who could roam with ASOL, but he didn't get to roam that much, and I don't see ASOL as a strong laner either. The other thing is I don't know much about Riley, but based on the damage percentage, and I think I saw one or two end game screens with him, it seems like he plays more tanks. I think maybe shifting him to something more supportive instead of a champion that needs to snowball, especially if he's off rolling. I'm not sure if you've watched a ton of their games and how Riley plays, but
It'll be interesting to see. I do agree. I think, Slayer, is a strong laner as well. Mid's a little bit more blindable than top. But I don't think you want to be one, your best champion or your mid's best champion, giving Wookiee the opportunity to uh, potentially just, counter it, right? Just straight up.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, how Monkeys approach this draft as we're getting some ready checks coming through. Personally, I'd like to see Riley, if he is, off roll, pick the best jungler you can and go from there. As we see Victor banned away from Caged Monkeys, CG Blood Moon opting to take away Onset's Zeri. Onset looked very scary on that pick. They don't want them to be won it, and so it'll just be taken off the board.
Yeah, and this time it looks like the bans are coming out a little slower. Cage Monkey's actually taking the same 2 bans.
Viego banned away from Cage Monkeys, responded with Seraphine from Blood Moon. So Blood Moon, I think they're basically throwing it down and saying like, look, we can dictate the early game. We don't want you scaling into the late. So we see a lot of these hyperscalers taken away from Cage Monkeys if that was an option that they were thinking about doing. And we see the Ezreal taken away as well. Set ban away from Cage Monkeys. And so B1 comes out. It'll be interesting to see what Cage Monkeys opts to do. Lots of options on the table, obviously. There's like, what, 174 champs now or something crazy?
Riley did come into the chat, the Twitch chat, and mention that his pool is 152 deep. So I don't know if that's the total number of champions, but if it isn't, he's missing a few.
Zach is going to be the high prio pick from Cage Monkeys. Obviously, a pick that can be flexed between top and jungle. Even a little bit of support. CG Blood Moon opting to hover over the Wukong. I won't be baited. But Abound, a strong player on the champion. But the Poppy, that looks so good game 1, is just such a strong answer to Zach game 2. Interesting that we're opting to blind the Zach without banning that Poppy that really ran the map for the first 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they just saw it too.
A little bit of a Dory action from Finding Nemo, short-term memory loss. It'll be interesting to see how the Zac plays, right? If it's jungle, you always have to be aware of the potential counter gank, right? If it's top, the Poppy pick doesn't feel that horrible until it shows up into your lane. But, CG Blood Moon could opt to, honestly just take the Poppy top. They have that last pick available to them. I expect them to preserve that flex till R5 as we see Kaisa come out. Blind into the bot lane. Strong champion. Not necessarily one we see high pride on recent patches, but one that in the right hands can do a lot of damage.
I think they're taking it because they showed first game that even if they're playing in ADC where they're a little more defensive early game, they're not worried about it. Ezreal didn't get punished at all, so I'm assuming Kaisa won't get punished with her short range early on.
Yeah, but a champion that definitely can do a little bit of the punishing is that Ashe, that W spam that everyone knows so well. Really good setup as well for potentially looking bot. We
Yeah.
wanted Onset to potentially get ahead early in this game, so once level 6 comes out, whoever ends up jungling should look bot early and often as we see Yone blind. Probably going to the hands of Slayer. LS, little bit of Worlds drama, always releasing his tier list. Thinks Yone is the best blind pickable mid laner on Worlds patch right now. Kind of interesting to see. There's that grasp stride breaker tech that we're seeing very often. Garen gonna be the R3 counter, and I wonder if it's gonna be a flex as well. Garen kind of strong into the Yone early. Can trade heavy, a little bit bulkier. As we see Darius the Hover for CG Blood Moon on this second ban phase. So what do you liking so far?
I think
It's cooked for Cage
no.
Monkeys? Okay.
I like their comp a lot more this game than last game. And also I have not seen the Yone tech you were talking about, so I'm interested to see how that goes.
Darius going to be the eventual ban for Blood Moon, followed by Nautilus from Cage Monkeys wants to take away that strong Kaisa Knot duo. But who knows? Maybe Poppy just goes support. 3-way flex. We don't know where Garen is. My guess is it's probably top. Most people play at top, but could be a strong answer into the Yone mid, which I'm assuming is Yone mid. A lot of assumptions being made in this draft. Lots of potential flexes here. As we see Nami going to be the second ban from CG Blood Moon. And Monkeys going to ban eventually. My guess is going to be another Kaisa pairing, probably the Rel. Okay, Tom Kench. Tom Kench definitely looked good in game one, so they don't want to see that again. Get to ban it away.
Yeah, I thought they banned Nami second rotation game one. I thought it was because of the Lucian to prevent the pairing, but it looks like maybe the support is just known for Nami.
And the Leona being hovered, definitely a good takeaway as well. Ash Leona, one of the iconic oldest bot lane duos you can find. Instead, the pick into Maokai. Maokai support, maybe? I don't know. There's too much going on Blood Moon's side. I think
Yeah,
they're
they
cooking
are
with some
flexing
spice. We'll
flexing
have to
quite a
see,
bit over
yeah,
here.
we'll have to see what they do. Um, it's gonna be support or jungle though for Maokai, right? Um,
Yeah, that's
so
what I'd assume. I haven't seen a Maokai top in a long time, so
okay, well they took away the scaling carries, but they didn't take away the scaling god himself. Orin gonna be locked in for Cage Monkey's safe blind pick. Does really well into the Garen if it is Garen top. Kind of just safe farm, pick up some experience. You're just playing for those ornaments, trying to be a CC menace in team fights. So it'll be interesting to see. We do have a lot of scaling on the side of Cage Monkeys, despite the Zeri and the Seraphine bans. Ash scales a little bit as Janna is hovered. Yone obviously strong scaler, and Ornn as well as Janna is locked in. Gonna dissuade the Poppy and Maokai from pulling the trigger. As we see Camille hovered. So it might be that Garen mid we were talking about. We'll have to see what is locked in.
yeah, it looks like it. It's interesting the comps feel a little more reversed this game. Monkeys look like the more team fighting upper team comp and looking like a solo queue team comp.
Yeah, it's a lot of early game, right? Very short ranged, lots of damage early, especially level 6 comes out. Camille Garen's so strong, Maokai as well. Very very short range, right? The Janna, they have a lot of high value in these team fight situations, able to, if they're able to, peel off the Camille, peel off the Poppy
Yeah,
effectively. Maokai gonna make it a little bit harder to do so, but I agree. I think Cage Monkeys has drafted a strong team fight comp, while Blood Moon is, kind of forcing themselves to win the early game, which, they did in spades game one. And so maybe they just want to pick champs that kind of accelerate that process for game two.
yeah. I definitely still give the edge a little more to Blood Moon just based on how well they played game one. But purely looking at the team comps, one thing I'd be worried about is Blood Moon has no real good wave clear, and they're almost all melee. So if they fall behind at all, and Cage Monkeys kind of just goes for arrow picks, orange picks, and walk up to turrets together, it's gonna be hard for Blood Moon to clear the wave.
So are you
Stay.
saying nameplates on, you're still going CG Blood Moon, but nameplates off, you prefer Cage Monkeys comp?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree as well. I definitely think, for as much of a strength Cage Monkeys has drafted in that team fight and potentially that scaling between the Ornn, Yone, and the Ash, it is a team fight, or it is a team comp that, if put down early, doesn't have like a lot of comeback mechanics other than just, farming as much as you can, right? You could look for some cheeky engages with the Ash ult, right? But we saw, how good Clown Gaming Blood Moon was in securing vision, and so they'll see that R coming a mile away. The team fight as well, for as much disengage that Janna offers, the Poppy does as well, right? So Zach has a little bit of harder of a time navigating these team fights. The Ornn, you're really going to be ulting, these melee champions, but it's going to be hard to lock down Kaisa, right? It's going to be hard to lock down Camille. And so I could see team fights going either way as well. So I think, everything said with the way game one went, I am favoring CJ Blood Moon as well. For those of you predicting in the LXC stream chat, you know where my votes are going, but it looks like nobody showing faith in Caged Monkeys as well. So we'll have to see if they shock the world and even up this series. But until then, we will be going into a break, and we will see you right back on the Rift.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and the YouTube Music app all together. Try 1 month free.
On a boiling desert road, heading far away to some place we don't know. Is it true all the things they say, that we will come to an end? Is it true all the things they say, maybe we could pretend? I don't wanna let go of your love, I don't wanna let go of your touch, 'cause my sun is rising
I'm decked out and I'm rolling. Rolling out, no controlling. DNA ain't no hoeing. Jumping deep, never put no toe in. Stepped out and I'm growing. Every day I've been growing. Never know where I'm going. And your bitch like how I'm flowing, flowing.
Welcome back to LXC Crusader quarterfinals, game 2. We see I apologize. Game 1 I got my teams mixed around, but it's gonna be Clown Gaming spotted out by this ward, placed by Onset.
Yeah, another game where they go for a cheeky invade.
They're just to be able to put down that ward on red buff.
Synergy from Clown Gaming already with the fist bumps.
Fist bumps coming out. Yep. All right. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back in business. And nothing really happening from the invade. Just some early vision on the red buff. Both junglers going to be matching. Starting a red buff. So far, it's been mirror matches. Both games. We see Uwu Slayer and Wookiee Monster doing the mid lane thing. Just trading a little bit. While Uwu Slayer is definitely getting the better of the trades.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much this lane actually favors Garen.
I think it's favored once Garen gets 6 and then has the Berserker's Grooves. But Uwu Slayer opting not to take the Grasp route, so I wonder if Stridebreaker doesn't come out as well. Maybe that changes. Maybe you don't do that in the Garen matchup as Wookiee Monster. Definitely taking the brunt of Uwu Slayer's aggression. But we talked about the matchups, right? We talked about the, Ornn's gonna scale. Yone can be aggressive, but also scales. Onset gonna be kind of a hindrance or annoyance for this Kai'Sa. So we see Jace jump in, get a grasp block on Vendetta. Vendetta taken to about a quarter HP. As we see on the other side, Wookiee Monster taken down pretty low as well. So some early aggressive trading coming out, but so far nothing to come of it. As we see, Wookiee Monster might have just actually baits out the perfect flash for flash. Slayer taken down extremely low because of those 2 tower shots. Gonna push in the wave, force Garen to back, and so should be up a handful of CS when all is said and done. But the flash for mid, so I expect some jungler action there coming up here in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, a bit sad for Yone. Probably hoping to snowball so that he can help his team after how poorly last game went. I was hoping that would be their spark to make it a more exciting series.
Kaisa going to stop probably the Ashes back with a W. Opts not to do so, or maybe missed. Don't know. Had full vision, so maybe they're just trying to push the wave, get some tempo there. As we see Silver Nighthawk doing what he did game 1. Really roaming Slayer. Slayer actually opts to E forward and might have just doomed himself to the Shadow Realm as Silver Nighthawk actually flashes forward. Saved by Keki Plays is Slayer. Nighthawk able to walk away, and we talked about, you know, junglers showing up. We didn't mention support. So far it's a party as everyone seems to be here in mid lane, and Keki doing their best to ensure that Slayer will be able to stay alive, and so Bound going to make sure Garen does the same, and so we'll see how long this back and forth goes in mid. Vendetta forced it back early. Wookie Bound flashing forward, gets the headbutt, doesn't quite connect with the wall, and so Slayer able to walk away as Keki was there, burning the flash for their mid laner safety, and so lots of early aggressiveness in this mid lane matchup, but so far it's just been summoner spells. Jace going in, takes a tower shot, also knocked up. Vendetta actually not able to hit that. And so Jace here with almost no health, no mana, as Onset seems to have been caught out. Silver Nighthawk able to get aggressive positioning, forces out the barrier from Onset. Onset not one to shy away from a fight, knows Nighthawk doesn't have the flash, and doing their best to kite, and doing so rather effectively.
Yeah, up top there, Camille is actually caught in the classic top lane dilemma where you need to reset, but you don't want them to freeze.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of breaking the freeze. Got a little bit of low, but has that TP available to them, and so 2 and Jace get back with that Sheen, which is such a big power spike for the early laning in Camille. Slayer trading aggressively once again under Wookie Monster. Gonna be a high damage game after this game. And probably a lot more volatile than we saw in game 1. Game 1, like I said, was kind of like a Korean showing where team got ahead and then just never let go of that lead. Played safe, played smart, played effective. We don't want to see that. We want to see the LPL style. We want to see lots of kills, lots of throws, lots of volatility, lots of randomness as we see Wookie trying to get level 6 as their wave is shoved under. About half health, Slayer full health, but does see Silver Nighthawk sitting around as a Bound. Once again, we talked about these objectives, right?
Yeah, Clowns really feel like they're still on top of those objectives.
Yeah, and the trade isn't coming out so far for Monkeys. That being said, Zach is on the bot side. Might be looking for force up Bound. Hex flashing forward. Oh, headbutts a minion. And it might lead to Wookie Monster's death. No. Slayer snaps back, gets themselves out of trouble, and will be able to pick up this wave unless a Bound feels like being aggressive. Zach E's slingshot forward, able to knock up and kill Wookie Monster. First blood going to Riley Sauce onto this Zach. And so we see a change from game 1 to game 2. The first blood gold going to Monkeys.
Yeah, hoping this will give them a little more confidence, help them have a little more life in them than what happened in game 1.
Riley Sauce spotting out of Bound and Silver Nighthawk. Heavy contesting for this Scuttle. Slayer here. Sans the ultimate, but still pretty powerful. Slayer gonna go in with the E. Silver Nighthawk knocked up again. And Keki doing the support thing, stealing the kill. But it's okay. We like when enchanters get gold. And this dragon should go the way. Oh, the E actually canceled by Vendetta. Jace, about half HP. Vendetta being aggressive as we look back down towards the Drake. Slayer spotting out Garen, making sure he doesn't come anywhere near. And so first blood, first 2 kills, and the first dragon secured by monkeys. We see Jace actually go in aggressively. Vendetta, I think, is okay with this fight. Wookiee Monster force out of mid. Keki is there. Barely misses the tornado knockup. But yeah, kind of a turning of tides. Actual 500 gold lead for Monkey is. And you talked about the strength of their comp. You feel pretty confident about their chances right now?
Yeah, I like how it's looking for them.
Uh-oh, Wookiee Monster going in early and aggressive. Slayer calculated. Wasn't even close. CY ad sign in the all chat, right? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the trade's top, even though they're not getting to Orin yet, there's definitely the Sheen spike is starting to get felt. The true damage is really popping him compared to earlier in the lane.
Yeah, the damage coming through, but also that 20 CS lead, right? T1 Jace getting the better of this matchup both games in a row. Now, granted, they did get the counter pick this time around. But showing their laning prowess. But I think if you're Orin, you're okay, right? As long as you're getting some gold and almost all the experience. We see Silver Nighthawk being a good support, freezing the wave for the Kai'Sa to come pick up. And now we see Wookiee Monster doing a really good job dodging the Qs from Slayer. But Slayer snapping back, taken down to a quarter HP is Wookiee Monster. And has to be careful. Slayer does have the ultimate available to him. Silver Nighthawk in the area as well.
Yeah, even
go ahead.
Even with sidestepping all those Qs, he somehow lost that trade.
Yeah, it's just Yone things. I don't know. Non-balanced champ, never has been, never will be. No, I'm just kidding. It's been okay a couple times. Wookiee Monster going to be able to pick up this wave that has been so graciously shoved under his tower by Slayer, but that does mean that has first move on the map. Going to be looking to deny the 6 scrubs, right? Because for what Cloud Gaming's teamfight might lack in, they make up for in side lane pressure between the Camille's. We see a beautiful Ashe ultimate find a bound and just layered. Welcome to the bounce house. You didn't get the move.
Quite the team comp by monkeys. It's showing.
A bound going down 3-0 kill lead. Still about 500 for monkeys, but going to be able to pick up these 3 grubs. So 6 grubs won't be going towards Cloud Gaming. We are testing objectives. We are doing better in laning. And all of a sudden, if momentum stays this way, it could be a 1-1 series. Obviously, you have to close out the game, right? But they have all the tools available to them as T1 Jace trades aggressively onto Vendetta. Vendetta has to be careful here. Because Resilient taken very low by Onset. Barrier coming out, ult and flash by Resilient. Resilient's going to go down. And Zach going to be taken, actually flashes away. Probably should still be taking into the passive form. And Vendetta might actually be dying, trying to help his jungler out. Slayer here as well. Riley able to come out from passive. Quickly knocked back down. Double kill from a bound. Right back on the map. 2-1-0 now on this Poppy, despite getting caught out. The very aggressive back by Slayer has to be careful. Double bust on this Slayer though, so Wookiee Monster asking for help from the bound. Keki waiting in the wings. As we see the Ashe ultimate connect onto, and a beautiful flash ult from Keki plays. Wookiee Monster had no chance. This Ashe is a menace right now. 2 for 2 on the ultimates. Solo Bolo in the bot lane. Onset doing work from afar.
Yeah, the coordination this game looks a lot better from Monkeys. I like it.
Silver Nighthawk going to try to stop the crash of this wave, but unable to do so. Slayer said, I'm crashing the wave, I'm getting my plate, and I'm spending this gold. 2-0-2 on the Yone. And yeah, I mean, if you're Vendetta here, you're like, hey, I'm playing Orange. You guys keep winning the map. I'm okay. I'm 0-1, but I'll still do my job. I'll be relevant in team fights. And the one concern I do see is, despite the 5-2 lead in kills for Monkeys, the gold lead hasn't really changed. It's about even almost now. We'll say 300 in the favor of Monkeys, but Drake 2 started up by Clown Gaming. As we see Zach go in, immediately knocked up by the W from a bound, but a huge 3-man ultimate coming out from Slayer, taking these carries so low. Onset able to find a bound on the Poppy. Maokai goes down as well. Resilient able to catch the Janna, and the ultimate from Ash. Is that a Quadra at 14 minutes? Onset is a menace on this champ. We see the power of the Ash coming through. 5-0-3 on this carry.
Yeah, for a moment at the start of that drag fight, I thought maybe it was a little forced, but the power of their team camp is kind of coming out here. So, even though you said that mentioned earlier where Ash might have a hard time with all these melees running at her, her slow kind of helps her deal with that in a chaotic team fight.
Yeah, and to your point, like the cohesion from Monkeys is a lot better this game than it was in game one, right? We see the layering of abilities. We see Keki doing an excellent job of keeping their carries alive. And yeah, I believe Riley and Keki both went down in that fight. But you'll take a 4-for-2 trade, especially when your carries are able to stay alive. 2-0-6 on the Yone, 5-0-3 on this Ash. And they're going to have a beefy front line and an enchanter behind them to make these team fights smooth sailing. As we see Resilient doing their best to pick up this wave that has been shoved in by Onside Keki. Looks like Rift Herald is going to go the way of Clown Gaming. But I'm not going to see this, on this game too. We're not just kind of rolling over slowly. We're taking it to them. We're saying, hey, we're a playoff team. We don't care what your seeding is. We don't care that we just got obliterated in game one. And we're going to get a lead in game two and hopefully close it out. Vendetta knocking up Jace, but the rest of his crew is behind him, and it's a quick pop onto the Ornn. The immediate drop of the Herald signals to me that they're going to be going for this tier 2.
Yeah, that might be the first sign of the cohesion from Monkeys being a little off there. I think in that situation when your top team dove that hard. Another fight coming up out here though.
Yeah, Onset forced to use the barrier. Flash used by Keki as well. Riley Sauce's slingshot actually canceled, but it does not matter. The Maokai goes down. No flash available to them. And so a cross-map trade. Clown Gaming able to pick up that tier 2 with the Herald. That was immediately required. And so getting a lot of gold back into their pockets, but still about 2k gold down.
Yeah, the gap's actually growing. Like you mentioned earlier, I was a little worried because there was quite a kill lead, but the gold lead was very small, but now it's getting a little larger. And I was going to mention before, the Ash arrow, I think usually instead of trying to desperately save your opposite side of the map that's being collapsed on, you save that arrow to create a play somewhere else where you have the advantage.
Yeah, I agree. This Ash is scary. 500 gold shut down on Onset. This Ash looking just monstrous right now.
Yeah, she's whole item over her counterpart.
Yeah. About 3.1k gold lead. Pretty much the entire gold lead Monkeys has just between the Ash and the Kaisa. We see Slayer actually taken down relatively low by Jace. Jace actually ulting onto Slayer, but oh my goodness, he just popped. Expertly played by T1 Jace with the ultimate, with the flash to get out of the way of the oncoming ultimate from Slayer. And there's Yone taken to his first death, and we see the power of the Camille in the side lanes, right? This is a champ that will just split you until your Nexus explodes. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond from Monkeys on this.
Yeah,
this
and
game.
just like that, the gold lead has disappeared.
Yep, back to square run, right? 3 for 3 in grubs, 1 for 1 in dragons. You do have a 4-kill gold lead, but most of your advantage is sitting on this Ashe, so it'll be up to Onset and his team to play around him and basically, you know, going back to what you're talking about in draft, right? Play these team fights well. It'll be really easy for this Ashe to explode if not properly peeled. Riley Sauce actually gets his red buff stolen away. Wookiee comes in at the last second, takes it. It's gotta feel kind of bad.
Yeah. It's always a mental toll as the jungler when that happens to you.
And now we're seeing a little bit more of the game 1 gameplay, right? We're late to the objective, relatively uncontested, and I don't think Monkeys is going to be able to do much about this Chemtech Drake going down. But on the opposite side, Slayer is pushing into tier 1 on top. Might look to trade there. Garen backing, has TP. So we'll have to see who Slayer was able to secure that.
Now that you mention, even the dragon they did get, or not, they didn't get the dragon, but the fight that they won a dragon, they were late to that dragon. They just happened to win the fight after.
Yeah, and I think the strength of their comp is in being at the objectives first, forcing these melees to walk into you, right?
Yeah.
Rather than the other way around. You don't want to be walking into melees. You want them to walk into you. You talked about the power of the Ashe autos, the slows, being able to buy so much space. Walking into a Janna is hard enough, but you have the Zac, you have the Ashe, so it'll be up to Monkeys to get there early, get there often, and play to their comp strengths, because right now, that even in gold. And if you're Monkeys, you gotta be a little bit nervous, right? You had the momentum your way. You had about a 2k gold lead. Now it's back down to not. But that's okay. You know, you still have the team fighting comp. But the way the game 1 went, you know, it always has to linger in the back of your mind, like, hey, you know, it's getting a little scary. So we'll have to see how they respond.
Yeah, hoping that we get to see some plays where they actually arrive to the objectives first. Like you mentioned, where you want them to walk into you, not the other way around.
Oh, as Slayer takes an aggressive trade into Wookiee Monster, but Bound and crew are here. Snapping back into a Poppy. It's going to be doing all they can to stay alive. The Ashe ultimate comes through. TP as well. Slayer doing an excellent job of staying alive. Wookiee taken very low. To go down. The response from Keki on Onset is here. Beautiful Ornn ultimate knocking out both. The Bound taken low. Popping the W, trying to run away, but running into the wrong side of the map. Zac should be there. Actually going on to Resilient. Resilient going to be able to pick up that tower and walk away. But for what looked like Slayer getting caught out, it turns into a 1-team fight. Monkeys are going to go right onto this Baron. You have to be wary that Poppy is behind them. Was taken low. But does have Hex Flash. Stuff has Smite. The ultimate coming out. Knocking out the Zac. A Bound might fall for his troubles though. Snaps back and everybody walks away from this objective. But if you're Monkeys, you have to be feeling relatively good about how this game is going compared to game 1, but it's close.
Things slow down a bit, but that had to be team fight of the series so far.
Yeah, especially if you're Monkeys, right? I mean, to be fair, we didn't see a lot of team fights in game 1. And we're seeing the strength in the skirmishing, in the team fights come out from Monkeys. The problem is, I think they're getting a little bit out macroed on the map, right? We see 203 CS to 144 from the Ornn. It's a what? 3k, almost 3k gold lead from top. Kind of nullifying the lead the Ashe has acquired for themselves in the bot lane. Mid, about even, and Abound actually 1,000 gold up, and so the map state is really where Monkeys are struggling at. For every team fight that they're winning, they're bleeding gold. This is like elsewhere on the map as we see T1 Jace looking to be caught out by the Monkeys crew. Arrow goes wide, but Vendetta has the ultimate available to them. Will find a knock up with the T1 Jace. will get the tornado knock up as well. Onset, never in danger. Camille kind of desperation ults. But look at that wave that they're losing top. And I don't think they're going to be able to take up this objective on Baron.
No.
As the rest of Clown Gaming is hustling over to the purple worm.
I think it would have been quite a big mistake to try to start a Baron with no ultimates.
Yep, Ooh Slayer is up, does have the ultimate available. As you know, the longer the game goes, it feels like the arrow turns into a Lux ultimate cooldown. But you're right. I mean, we got the pick, but it didn't really lead to anything. Lots of cooldowns used for basically a null advantage. You went up numbers, but we're seeing Monkeys struggle to take their one team fights, take their one skirmishes, and turn them into a lead. Wookie Monster going aggressive on the Ornn. Vendetta, so tanky. I don't think it will lead to a kill. Maybe I'm wrong. Wookie staying with Vendetta. Vendetta taking really low. Wookie ultimate comes through, and actually that's a dead Ornn. Again, we're late to the objectives from Monkeys. Gonna have to give this one away. That's 3 dragons for Clown Gaming.
Garen hiding in their jungle right now.
You know, props to Clown Gaming for playing the map so well, but if you're Monkeys, you can't lose out on both sides of the map at the same time, right? We lost out on top, and we weren't there for Drake. So we'll have to clean up some of that gameplay if we hope to win game 2. But it's anybody's game right now. Gold lead, ever so slightly favored for Monkeys. Dragon lead on the side of Clown Gaming. It really feels like it's just going to come down to either a catch or a team fight one for either of these teams to really get ahead. As Ooh Slayer going aggressive onto a bound. A bound pops the W, snaps back. Riley Sauce able to E away from the danger. But Jace, T1 Jace, we talked about this. Camille, uncontested on the side. Tier 2 is going to go down. I don't think Ornn can really do anything about it.
Yeah, it feels like he has to just slowly watch his turrets go down. And speaking to the objectives, I thought with the range from Ashe plus the vision, that they would have an easier time getting objectives, or at least getting to them. And it seems like it hasn't changed anything.
Onset's arrow goes wide. Resilient able to E away. In no danger from Riley Sauce's link shot engage, and so we're pinging on a Baron. Monkeys wants to start a fight. They've learned. They said, hey, we have to be at these objectives first. Maybe they're gonna try to bait out a winning fight for their side instead. Just going back to the blue side, getting some vision, get a reset, spend our gold. Really just feels like a razor's edge right now for game 2.
I think there might have been a pause.
Looks like there was. We didn't see. I wasn't affected by it.
Okay.
We're at 2650 right now.
Okay.
Blue Slayer going on a Wookie Monster. Wookie Monster taking incredibly low. Ooh Slayer opts to snap back, not use the ultimate to finish up that kill. So this Yone still really strong. This Ashe still really strong. The problem is our map. The way we're approaching our map, right? We're letting Monkeys is letting Clown dictate the tempo. As we see a beautiful Ashe arrow immediately cleansed by Resilient, flashes away from the Zac stretching strikes. 2 huge summoners down for Resilient. And if there's a time to start this objective, I think it's now. Monkeys pinging on to the Baron, but not willing to pull the trigger. really want to catch that Resilient that doesn't have those 2 summoner spells, but it's just so hard to stick on with Kaisa now that she has her upgraded E. That invisibility available to her, supercharge, gonna be able to get her out of tight spots. Did force her out though. King's coming onto this Baron. They have been spotted. That ward in the back of the pit. Taking about a quarter of its health so far. Monkeys has. Onset. Just welling into this thing. Looks like they're turning for the fight. T1J is able to find an ult, but immediately ulted away by this Janna, doing such a good job of peeling. Flash W, Root coming on an Onset. Onset having to flash over the wall. Resilient ulting forward, getting the shutdown on the Ashe. Ulu Slayer going down as well. Resilient going to pay for the cash out on the Ashe. Double kill coming up for Vendetta on the Ornn. We're not done fighting. Wookiee monster laying into this Vendetta, but Vendetta is so strong. Jace coming back in. That's where the damage is going to be found. Vendetta taken low, taken out by Garen. 3 for 2 so far. Jace able to find Keki. That is a 4 for 2. 5 for 2. Ace for Clown Gaming.
Yeah, quite the chaotic fight there, which I think favors the Clowns.
And we saw just how hard it is to really keep Onset safe, right? Beautifully done by Keki Plays to immediately use her ult, the Janna ult, to get T1 Jace out of their ult. But we saw the flash coming out from Nighthawk, forcing the flash away from, Onset onto the opposite side of the wall. And then the follow-up from Resilient just to kill Onset. So everything done right or correctly from Monkey's point of view to try to keep their carry alive, but it still wasn't enough. As we see the soul claimed off the back of that ace.
And this is starting to feel a lot like game 1 again, where it doesn't feel like there's an easy way for the Monkeys to get back into this now.
And about a 4K gold lead just sprung up off the back of that ace. And that soul being acquired, objective bounties coming through for Monkeys, and for as well as their early game went, as well as Onset and Ulu Slayer are doing, not enough so far. Game 2 is not over though. They're not out of this game.
This might lead into a situation like game 1 where there's a bit of a stall for a little while. Mostly because even though the Clowns are ahead, they're all melee. They might have a little trouble dealing with towers.
But so far they've been able to ping pong rather effectively. Vendetta doing their best to match this T1 Jace on this Camille. Level 17. Absolutely massive right now is this Camille. Baron taking to about half health. Will be spotted out by this Hawk shot, but might be too little too late. Ooh, Slayer doing their best to try to steal. Secured by a bound. Actually, the snapback won't amount to anything. T1 Jace found on the wrong side of the map. Going on an Onset. Ultimate coming out. Onset doing their best to stay alive. Riley Sauce and crew trying to keep Onset alive. Unfortunately, just not enough. So much damage from Clown Gaming's squad. Just not enough peeling options. Keki, the lone survivor of Monkeys. This might be game 2 going the way of Clown Gaming. For as much as they were struggling in the early parts of this map, didn't really ever feel out of it. Despite some misplays, despite some lost team fights, kept up in gold and really won fights when they mattered.
Yeah. After a game like this, I'm not sure what comes next for the Monkeys to stay in it. It felt like a lot of things went their way early game, and it still wasn't enough.
And game 2 secured by Cloud Gaming Blood. And yeah, I don't know what you do if you're Monkeys. You had all the tools, all the opportunity available to you, able to find leads in both mid and bot, but unfortunately wasn't able to translate that into mid or late game success. and we're on the verge of a 3-0 sweep. If your back's against the wall, I mean, what are you doing here, Sarcasm? How are you hyping up your squad to be like, hey, we're reverse sweeping, we're winning this, we're keeping our season alive?
I think I honestly don't know. I think you might have to come up with the answer for that one because I would be very demoralized right now. I guess the one hope is that the early game went well. That maybe if we can pull something off like that again, we'll instead of slowly letting it come back, we would be able to pull through. But what about you? How would you kind of try to sustain this situation?
I think if your monkey's right, backs against the wall, you have a lot to glean from this second game. You got a lead, you had winning fights, but I think you have to do some self-reflection and being like, hey, we didn't play to our win con, which is getting to the objective first. We messed up a little bit there. If we just took a couple of those drakes, maybe forced a couple of fights. The problem is other than that third dragon that was, or sorry, second dragon that was secured by Clown Gaming, where Ash was able to get that quadra, there really wasn't any. There was no contest from monkeys, right? You got to change that. Games 1 and 2, that's been the common theme, is we're too willing to give up these objectives. I don't even care if they get the objective. I'd rather see them, take the fight to Clown Gaming, make them prove that they are the number 1 seed, as opposed to just giving stuff for free. Caged monkeys opting to stay on blue side.
I'm sorry, Righteous. I know you. I'm not sure if you were asking me a question there, but I got a little distracted while you were talking.
No, you're fine. You're totally good. Sarcasm stepping up, being my color caster here. Game 3. On the verge of a sweep. I mean, is this where you just bring out some crazy picks, see what sticks, see if you can catch them kind of not prepared or ill prepared for something that you've been cooking for a while?
Yeah, I think if it could be your last game of the split, you play something that you've wanted to play, maybe haven't gotten a chance to, and show why your teammates should have let you pick it earlier.
A little bit of an update for you. Right now, Conduit Glory, game 2, they won the first game. In dire straits, the second could go to a 1-1 series, and then I believe you told me Roar was up 1-0 in their series.
That's correct.
So for all of you watching, there's an update around the Crusader playoffs. Unfortunately, we're not able to stream all those teams, but there is a stream going on LXC Stream 2, Conduit versus Contingent. Which of the C teams comes out on top? Here over on the main stream, of course, we have Caged Monkeys taking on the number 1 overall seed, Clown Gaming Blood Moon. Game 1 was a wash. Blood Moon won that rather convincingly. Game 2, Monkeys did get a lead, but faltered in the mid to late game. Unable to close it out. 2-0 lead right now. And going into this game 3, the draft is ready.
Anything you're looking for here? Or any expectations?
I think we got to get a bound off of the Poppy. Despite, a bound did get caught a couple times by the Ash Arrow, I think once. Other than that, this Poppy been kind of a menace. Poppy is such a unique champion in that with Hex Flash being a rune, it takes the strengths of Poppy and just kind of amplifies it, right? It's so good at playing Peel, but it's also so good at being an engage, right? And we saw that one time that Monkeys thought they could potentially secure Baron, just able to stay alive and then ult the jungler out, ultimately leading to no play being made. And so I'd like to see the Poppy banned away. Ash looked good. Might be a ban coming out from Clown Gaming. I will say, I've casted a couple games for LXC so far across all the divisions. The Ornn Ash combo in all the games I have casted has never won. Take that information what you will. But if we're picking Ash again, I'd like to see not Ornn as we get right away into this draft for Game 3 quarterfinals here. LEC Crusader bans flying through. Victor banned away from CG Blood Moon. Cage Monkeys did not want to see that in mid, and of course the Zeri banned away from Onset. Kind of a staple champion for them. Yeah, I don't know.
I do
I
have an
think we just
update on the Roar series. Roar is
Okay.
up 2-0.
Okay. 2-0 series all around so far. I don't know how the bare minimum syndicate series is going. If anybody has updates, I would love to know. But bans are concluded. Victor, Poppy, Viego. I think the same bans from game 2 for Cage Monkeys. And then we see the same bans from CG Blood Moon.
Oh, they did add the Poppy. You did call that correctly.
Oh, yes. Okay, Poppy was taken away. That's good to see. Actually enables the Amumu. Could be a flex pick. We've seen it taking support. Probably going jungle. We'll have to see. Very, very strong team fight. Has a good early game presence. Despite the linear gameplay, I think it's a really solid champion as we see Blood Moon picking up that Kaisa that was able to do so much work game 2. Onset doing all they could, living through the Camille, living through engages from Maokai, but taken low, Kaisa able just to ult and finish the job and stay alive while doing so. And so strong pickup for CG Blood Moon here. I wonder if they're going to just opt into blind picking a strong support. We did see some pairings taken away from CG Blood Moon when they waited to R4 their support pick.
Yeah, this pick is stalling out a bit, so it looks like they're deciding what role they want to take next. Oh, here we go.
Xin Zhao going to be the answer into perceived Amumu jungle. We'll have to see if it actually ends up being so. Really strong pick on the patch. I think it's considered kind of OP right now. Heading into Worlds, lots of players finding success in it. The build paths can be unique. As we see Draven hovered from Cage Monkeys. Would be a unique answer into the Kaisa, but a very scary pick. Nope. It's going to be Xayah instead. Okay. We want Blood Moon to play into us, is what Cage Monkeys is saying, is the dynamic duo, the lovers of bot lane, Xayah and Rakan locked in for Onset and Keki. Interesting. I have not seen Xayah Prio come out in a very long time.
Yeah, I haven't even seen her selected in a very long time. Curious how often she's been played in the league now that we're looking at it.
I think it might be coming off the back of that game too, where we saw so much so much dive coming onto Onset, right? With the Camille ult, the flash W's coming from Malachi. So we see Tom Kench locked in. Most likely the pairing from Kaisa was banned away game 2, so we'll have to see if the pick is made worth by CG Blood Moon. It's gonna be an interesting bot lane if that Tom Kench is paired with the Kaisa. I believe Zyricon might be favored in the vacuum in the 2v2, but as I said before, it's been so long since I've seen that, I'm not too sure. So we look at the bands. Camille banned away by Cage Monkeys, CG Blood Moon, rounding out their bands with the Dragons banned away. Both scaling options are going to be a no-go for Cage Monkeys, so we're going to have to find their scaling somewhere else.
Yeah, I like the Camille ban. It felt like Monkeys had no answer for that last game. No one can match her.
Set is going to be the last ban for Cage Monkeys, and both games top lane has gone the way of T1 Jace. Now, granted, they are Diamond 4 playing into a Plat 2, so kind of on paper, the matchup's going as they should. Trying to take away those strong champions from Jace's pool as we see Ari being hovered by CG Blood Moon and locked in. Lots of skirmishing power between that Xin Zhao and Ari. The mid jungle duo gonna be looking to link up and move around the map early and often. Okay. Golden giving me the status update. Zaya is favored in Kaisa. However, Tom Kench is favored in the Rakan. Makes sense now that I think about it. Because once Rakan goes in, unless he's able to E out, immediately, still gonna be able to get that lick, get that slow, and make his day a nightmare. As we see Darius locked in blind and Fizz hovered. Don't expect that to be locked in on the do or die match. Cassidy might though. Be very interesting to see these solo laners as Swain is the ultimate locked in. Okay, they got me with the hovers. I was excited to see something crazy. But Swain going to be that final pick for Cage Monkeys. And Wukong actually going to be the only monkey in this game. And it's going to CG Blood Moon. I'm assuming he's going to be locked. But maybe I'm wrong. Actually, no, I'm not wrong. Okay. That's very
I
interesting.
think you're a
So,
little wrong. Wukong's the sixth monkey in this game,
oh
not the
yeah,
only.
5 Cage Monkeys. You're right. You're right. You're right. Very, very good. But Wukong going to be rounding out Blood Moon's comp. Assume it's going to go top. Tom Kench bot with the Kaisa, Xin Zhao jungle, Ari mid. This Swain, if able to scale, can pose a problem for Blood Moon. Not a lot of range once again. And unless it pops really fast, Swain going to be doing so much mounting damage in these team fights. We saw Cage Monkeys really knew how to skirmish in team fight. So we'll have to see if they're able to equate that success into a win here in the do or die match, game 3. But looking at these two comps, I mean, who do you got?
I am favoring purely on even outside of camp. I think Blood Moons is just easier to execute.
I can agree with that. I
Yeah.
do really like the synergies that Zaya, Rakan, Mumu, and Swain offer.
Yeah, they do have a lot of kind of stay grouped up and do a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. And when you're Wukong and an Ari and a Xin Zhao, that's exactly what you want to do as well. So I think in terms of, the actual, if you get a 5v5, I do think Cage Monkeys is probably favored once again. But I don't think their skirmishing is good, right? Ari Xin Zhao is going to be very scary for a Swain and Mumu to deal with, right? Or, Darius might be able to 2v1 on the top with so much damage coming out through Wukong and Xin Zhao. On the bot side, it's, a coin flip either way, but 3v3, I'd probably favor Blood Moon just because of the raw damage, but Mumu with the setup on Zaya pullback could prove fatal. So it'll be interesting to see how both these teams approach the early game and mid game of game 1. I'd like to see Cage Monkeys get out to an early lead like they did game 2, but kind of finish it out, right? Show up to the objectives first. I will say, if you're Cage Monkeys, you got to get to the objectives first. I mean, you do have Rakan and a Mumu to start up your engage, but you really want to be there first to make them play into the Zaya. Zaya doesn't have a great time following in that engage without putting herself at risk of a re-engage from Blood Moon. So they got to do a better job of kind of matching that eternal clock Blood Moon has shown when it comes to securing these objectives.
Yeah. Is there a lane you think will have a large influence on this game again? It felt like the Ash arrows were kind of the main point for the monkeys last game, right?
Yeah, the Ash arrows did a lot. I think it's probably going to be bot lane centric again. It's easier to play around scaling dragons, right? And I think that's what Cage Monkeys is going to want to do, especially like between the Swain, the Rakan, the Zai, and a Mumu. If you can get to that objective first, it'll be really strong. But the way top's been going, if this Wukong gets out of hand, it could be very hard for Darius to match. We saw it was pretty much impossible for the Ornn to do it post 20 minutes game 2. So if I'm a Mumu, I'd actually like to get my Darius ahead with the way the lanes have been going. Kind of get T1 Jace behind for the first time in this series. See what happens there. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Lots and lots of things to discuss as we approach what could be the deciding game 3 for Caged Monkeys. We'll have to see. Once we get back onto the Rift, we're going to take a small break. We're looking forward to seeing you for game 3.
Oh, broken dreams. All the scars, let's leave them behind. We light the world up now, let us fire in your eyes. Through the darkness into the night. Oh, broken dreamer, is your mind. All the scars, let's leave them behind. We light the world up now, let us fire in your eyes. Through the darkness into the night.
3 of this quarterfinals match between Clown Gaming Blood Moon and the Cage Monkeys. As we see all 10 members going to be meeting in this middle bush. Slayer getting a massive E. Massive knockup from Keki Plays. Nighthawk taken very, very low. T1 Jace flashing on a Keki. Keki not going down. T1 Jace going to be the first blood of this game. Another giant E from Slayer. 3 going for Monkeys. Keki actually getting the knockup. Double kill for Onset. And all of a sudden, it is a 2K gold lead 1 minute in.
I don't think you can ask for anything more. As Monkeys, this should be their game to win.
Yep. We see some all chat abound saying y'all were ready. Unfortunate for Clown Gaming Blood Moon, but very, very fortunate for the side of Caged Monkeys. Keki burning both their summoners and Vedena burning Ghost, but other than that, 4-0 clean fight for them. 2K gold lead. But we saw they got a gold in game 2, weren't able to close it out. So I hope this gives them the confidence to, you know, just show up the projectors first and be like, hey, this is our game to win. As we see Slayer getting another E, a monster right now. I think he's 2 for 3 on those swaying poles that never move. Have to be learning these as we go.
A lane swap actually going on too.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I wonder what the reasoning is. They actually hard nerfed this strategy last patch. It's pretty much impossible for the top side to take early plates. And I think if you're Vendetta, you're okay. You know, T1 Jace has been able to get the better of you 2 games in a row. So for you, you're just basically going to be able to not really farm for free, but farm for free under your tower. Kind of interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's because, you know, Clown Gaming has gotten this 2-0 lead. They're just, you know, trying some new strategies as they advance further into playoffs. But you're kind of playing with that game lead that they have.
Yeah,
but they do have to close out playoffs. They do have to pull off quarterfinals, and so we've seen tons of reverse sweep happen in the LCS. As you see Keki and Onset getting that early plating. Yeah, very, very interesting to see indeed. I will say Abound able to farm his jungle a little bit better. Actually, Riley Sauce finally finishing blue side at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I think it was because Riley Sauce was opting to hover Vendetta on the potential dive. Will kind of eat into his clear time, and now he's not here for the dive, but Onset and Keki Plays are heading up to the top side, so if Darius is able to live long enough, they should be there for the play. Vendetta, huge pull. Abound already taking tower shots. Abound taken very, very low. Vendetta will go down. Resilient actually executed. Onset finding the kill on to Abound. Killing spree, 4 minutes in. Lots of flashes used. Slayer and Silver Nighthawk expending the flashes. And so, honestly, it comes down to a 1-for-1. But unfortunately for Vendetta, wasn't able to farm effectively in the 2v1 as effectively as T1 Jace. And so, already a massive CS lead coming up for the top laners of Clown Gaming.
It looks like Monkeys are trying to rematch the bot lanes together.
Oh, Abound actually smiting away the Scuttle Crab. Riley Sauce does have the flash available. Actually opts not to use it. Abound scared to walk into the side of Caged Monkeys, and actually Riley Sauce gets away scot-free. Maintaining that 2K gold lead is Caged Monkeys. However, we were talking about these objectives, right? And so while the bot lane of Onset and Keki Plays was on top side, gives the timing window for a free dragon for Clown Gaming. able to pick up that early Chemtech Drake. Now, it is an early Chemtech Drake. If you're going to go up an early game, like first Drake, I think you're okay giving that one up. But now it's going to be up to Riley Sauce and crew to secure the trade of grubs instead.
Even with this 4-0 lead at the start,
We see T1Js go in early and aggressive. 2 levels up on Vendetta already. Vendetta actually able to stay alive with the Q healing. T1Js expending the ignite but not picking up the kill, but Vendetta has to be careful. He is definitely in kill range. He is one sneaky W from Jace away into dying, and Riley actually gonna sit here, make sure his top laner can farm as much as his top lane minion wave as he can. Riley Sauce actually going to be spotted out by T1 Jace. T1 Jace 2 levels up on Riley Sauce as well, going aggressively onto the Samumu. Riley Sauce with a cool advantage to get away, dropping a ward as well, and so able to cover for his top laner. But I think if you're Riley Sauce, you really just gotta, you know, cut your losses and try to get Onset, who is 3-0-2 on this Xayah, ahead. And we talked about, you know, gonna be up to Riley and crew to get these grubs, but they're nowhere to be seen. It's gonna be another uncontested objective going the way of Clown Gaming.
yeah, if we couldn't see the scores right now, I would not assume that there's a team that has a 4-kill lead based on how the game's playing out.
Yeah, and that early 2K gold lead, about 1,000 now, right? So you're actually losing out on tempo, losing out on the objective map gold, despite starting off the game 4-0. T1 Jace go aggressive into Vendetta. Vendetta gets the pull on her tower. Unfortunately, not able to stick with the Wukong. W's away. Slayer doing a nice job of, you know, doing the Swain thing, getting the ease, getting his scaling health going. Will be a menace in these team fights if left unchecked. The early Giants belt is an interesting choice. Not exactly sure what he might be trying to build into.
Rushing Rileys, maybe?
Oh,
Does it still build on that? Yeah.
Yep, you're exactly right. See, this is why you're here. You know what you're talking about. But the early Plate and Steel Caps is an interesting choice for the Swain, as we see Onset trading aggressively into Resilient. Silver Nighthawk is here to back up his AD carry. Keki not far behind. Early pickaxes coming out from T1 Jace and Abound. Lots of damage from the top side of Clown Gaming. Really impressed with Abound's ability to dictate all 3 games, the early pace of the games. Riley kind of a back foot, doing a lot to try to salvage Vendetta in this losing matchup, and I think we saw exactly why Clown Gaming took this lane swap, as T1 Jace taking it to Vendetta. Abound there as well, going to pick up a kill on the Darius, who's already 33 CS down. Going to be another play for Jace if he opts to take it, and looks like he will be doing so. And no response on the opposite side of the map. Riley maybe not aware that he walked through a pink ward there. Dragon is coming up. Good to see them on this side. So we see Never Move barely missing from Slayer. Making Monster able to walk away. And I will say, you know, despite the early game kind of going the way of Clown Gaming, they still are a little bit down in gold. And I do think the team fight power is in the favor of Caged Monkeys, and so I would have liked them to have stayed in that river, made the Flashless and Zhao walk into them, but instead Riley Sauce knows that they're behind, needs the experience, needs to get level 6, and so if they're not careful, this gold lead is going to dissipate with this this dragon.
Yeah, just based on where everyone is, it looks like it's going to be a repeat, right? I think Riley needs to reset before coming back to Dragon, which means Clowns will have priority of it again. Looks like he's not resetting actually.
He does need to be careful. Silver Nighthawk is going to be face checking into Riley, and Riley didn't even see. I think he was so focused on the Ari. Able to ult, but I don't think he's going to be able to get away as we see Wookiee Monster pick up the kill with the Ari ultimate coming out. And so this should be another uncontested dragon for Clown Gaming. And that's been kind of the series in a nutshell, is uncontested neutral objectives.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, I'm not sure if we did during the stream, but I think Riley might not be their regular starting jungler, right? Maybe that's part of why it's so hard to get priority over these.
We see T1 Jace taking an aggressive chase into Vendetta. Vendetta actually getting his full stacks. Jace going back in, ultimate. Vendetta taken low, taken down. Wookiee Monster TPing to cover their top laner. And it should be, if both champions decide to stay, could be first tower going Cloud Gaming's way as well. And it looks like that's going to be exactly what that is. Meanwhile, Onset doing their job, you know, CSing well, still 3-0-2, but nothing really has happened. Nothing good has happened to Monkeys since that level 1 fight. Jace able to W away as Slayer is caught out. Will pop the ultimate. Silver Nighthawk W's in, has to flash out. Flash coming from Slayer as well. This Slayer has armor boots. Jace actually able to stay alive using that warrior trickster masterfully. Same can't be said for Silver Nighthawk, as he does walk into Onset's Xayah, who already has the Essence Reaver almost fully stacked Cole as well. The Xayah is very strong, but it needs to be played around. They need to team fight with this comp.
Yeah, things almost going right for them right there. And Wukong barely gets away.
Yeah, and it seems like when they take these skirmishes or take these fights, even though Clown Gaming has lost several in a row, going back to game 2, there's never really anything to get on the back of them, right? There's no neutral objective. There's no dragon or Rift Herald or really anything. And so while they're winning the fights, it doesn't really amount to much. So maybe the timing of the fights has to be a little bit better. Good punish, I will say, to punish Silver Nighthawk's aggressive abyssal dive, but this Wukong is almost 50 CS up now, 2-1-0, already has the completed Eclipse, about a 2k gold lead on this Darius. Gonna be very scary on the sidelines. The opposite side, Onset does have that lead. He's playing Xayah. It's gonna be hard to stick on that champion, especially paired with the Rakan. Walking through a Swain, walking through an Amumu. But it all hinges on them being at objectives first, which so far they haven't been able to show throughout this series.
It feels like a lot of their gameplay has been around trying to stop the bleeding top, and I'm curious how you feel about that. As I don't know if you jungle, but are you a player around the lane that's winning, or are you more kind of trying to save your team?
You always want to play around the lane that's winning. As we see a bound potentially caught out, Riley saw Skew coming out, ultimate used as well. Quickly a bound goes down as the Abyssal Voyage is stopped with an excellent pull from Vendetta. 2 quick kills over to the Caged Monkeys, and this should be a Rift Herald picked up for them for their trouble. And so this is a nice adaptation, right? This is a fight that actually leads to something that can be used to gain a little bit of an advantage on the map. We'll have to see if they use it effectively, but I believe this is the first game in which they'll actually have Rift Herald available to them. As we see, Wookiee Monster might be having to force the ultimate out as Keki actually gets the tail end of the Ari. Ari's so slippery though, able to walk away as we see Vendetta caught out once again by T1 Jace. Gonna get a little bit of a healing from Q. Ultimate will come out, but really amounts to nothing as T1 Jace just so far ahead in this matchup.
Man, nearly doubling his CS now too.
Yeah, if there's going to be a Flame Horizon in this series, it's going to be this game, and it's going to be the Wukong over the Darius. Going back to your question, you always want to play around the winning lane, right? But it's so easy to get sucked into trying to cover for the losing one. Because you know how much of a menace or how much of a nuisance that Wukong's going to be. But you see why you really shouldn't play around the losing lane. Because despite your efforts, the T1 Jace on this Wukong is just so far ahead. Now, I will note, neither top laner has TP, right? So this is going to be a 4v4, which I do think is in favor of the Caged Monkeys. This, gold lead we talked about on onset on this Saya. Going to be very, very strong. Rift Herald is dropped. It actually won't crash. Picked up by the minion wave. And so, neutral objective that was fought so hard for, fought so cleanly for, ended up not really doing anything other than securing this dragon.
Yeah, not the worst. They got a dragon out.
Yeah, but Wukong is here. Heki going aggressive with Ulu Slayer, trying to catch a bound out. A bound will be caught by a potential never move and E from Darius, but Jace, T1 Jace on this Wukong, finding a massive ultimate, but fighting off more than they could chew. Wookiee Slayer Wookiee Monster, excuse me, trying to salvage this fight, unable to do so. Onset finds the root onto Resilient, but a 1-for-0 trade on the back of that dragon. And if you're Monkeys, you're feeling good. You got 2 neutrals. Now, granted, one didn't really lead to anything, but you're able to secure the dragon and a kill as well. As Resilient trying to cheekily stop the backs, actually having to flash away from Keki's Rakan. Wookiee with an aggressive flash and immediately punished. Sussed out by Riley. Great bandage toss. And Silver Nighthawk unable to save their 80 carries. 2 kills over to Monkeys. And now we see some sloppy play from Cloud Gaming that we haven't seen the previous 2 games.
Yeah, I think it actually all started a bit with Jace being a little too confident. He engaged there while his ADC was still walking out of base. So it's actually a 4v5 at the start of that.
Yeah. And, 2 flashes burned when you really could have just we see an aggressive TP behind Ulu Slayer from Wookiee Monster, but Wookiee Monster does have flash, but does have the ultimate. Unable to get away. Ulu Slayer flashing aggressively, trying to stick on to Wookiee Monster, then never move, unable to hit, and so Wookiee Monster going to be able to walk out. But these are summoners that are being used with the T1 Jace. Take an aggressive Jave into Vendetta. Riley Sauce is here, does Q forward, does get the ultimate and a kill going to Vendetta off of a great use of guillotine, and it's just so perfectly played. Onset having to flash away, a bound taken very low, 2 tower shots. And it seems like Cloud Gaming, for the first time this series, playing a little bit desperate. Wookiee Monster using an aggressive flash, punished, immediately using an aggressive TP, and then unable to punish Ulu Slayer. And so we're seeing summoners used for plays that aren't amounting to anything from Cloud Gaming.
Yeah, and at the same time, on the other side, Monkeys are showing up to help cover someone who may be losing a trade pretty effectively here.
Bound to pick up this CS, trying to find Vendetta, but Vendetta able to get the back off, and so yeah, I mean, this Wukong that was massively ahead. We even talked about like maybe that we see a Flame Horizon come through. CS gap has closed a little bit, back down about 30. But what I'm more concerned with is this Wukong that was so far ahead. Actually, 3 kills now, 3 and 3 on the champion. Great team fighter, but so far has not been able to show those chops well.
Looks like you hit him with the classic caster curse.
Maybe I did. Unfortunate if I did, but I mean, let's talk about Onset for a second. 7-0-4, back-to-back games where they've really been the star of the show for Caged Monkeys.
Yeah, it's good to see. that someone on their team is shiny a
Ooh,
bit.
Silver Nighthawk caught out by a bandage dash, immediately flashed away. Keki unable to get the grand entrance to land, and so, but we're seeing Caged Monkeys get, you know, some needed wins in these trades. You know, it doesn't amount to a kill on Silver Nighthawk, but it does amount to a lost Flash, which could be the difference between Flash, you know, ulting Resilient or Wookiee, someone who might be caught, and not being able to do so. So good on Monkeys to take these, you know, slow winning trades and actually finding a 2k gold lead. Or sorry, yeah, 2k gold lead.
Yeah, we're exactly where we are, or where we were at the start of the game.
Yeah, a little bit in between there, right? But, you know, if you're Monkeys, you're okay with that, you know. You can take leads where you can get them. Back against the wall, down 2-0. And we see Abound just clearing their jungles, setting up for this objective. And for once, it looks like we're going to be, the Monkeys are going to be first to the objective. Potentially looking to catch out Silver Nighthawk. Flash was expended earlier. W coming out will find Keki. Resilient opting to stay mid, try to get that mid lane advantage. We see Riley Sauce E on to big ultimate coming out from Ooh Slayer. T1 Jace immediately taken low, Abound so low as well. Riley Sauce and Keki will go down, but Onset still alive, has the ultimate available, needs the E, gets the E pull back, gets a triple kill, while Ooh Slayer will finish up the fight on the backside as we see Nighthawk Abyssal Voyage to get out of harm's way. But that was a 4v5.
Yeah.
They were down
whole
numbers that whole time and actually win the fight as the Never Move does find Nighthawk. I don't think Ooh Slayer has enough mana or damage to actually punish, but a tier 2 will fall for Monkey's Troubles on the back of a 1 fight on the opposite side of the map. And if you're Cloud Gaming, you got to be scratching your head going, how the heck did that happen? And I think the power of Ooh Slayer's Swain was felt in full effect there.
Yeah, you mentioned this in loading, or while they were in Champ Select, that Swain and Amumu pretty good into an all pretty short range team.
Yeah, and once again, I think Riley Sauce and Keki are fine giving their lives so long as their carries stay ahead. 10-0-4 is Onset on this Xayah as we see Keki catching out Wookiee, potentially eating over to Onset. Not in harm's way. The dragon still is up. Positioning is favored for Cloud Gaming. Gonna start up this objective, but do you need to be wary potential pinch coming out from Darius? But they melt this dragon so quickly. Will they opt into a fight afterwards? The W, the Q, the flashes, ultimately doesn't land. Wookiee Monster so slippery on the RA, only using ultimate to get out. Still has the flash available. Resilient just staying mid. Onset's really strong. Resilient with an aggressive ultimate actually flashes, finds 1,000 gold shutdown in the 1v1. How does that happen? Keki gonna be able to clean up Resilient on the backside of the fight. Ooh Slayer finding a Never Move. Wookiee flashing into the loving arms of everybody's favorite slimy support.
Yeah, Resilient, I heard, was talking. Oh,
we see another fight. Abound coming through, coming aggressively. Vendetta trying to finish off the tower. Instead, finished off himself.
I was gonna say Resilient was talking quite a bit before the game, I heard, and it looks like he backed it up right there, going in on the 10-0 carry as a 1 in 5 ADC.
Yeah, and finding the win in the 1v1. It was basically a 1v1. Obviously,
yeah,
everybody showed up at the end there, but we were talking about one fights a little bit earlier around that dragon when Darius was able to get a tier 2 uncontested. Kind of a scattered skirmish, I would call it there, but that whole time Wukong was able to pick up the tier 2 on bot side as well. Now it is about 1.5k gold lead for Monkeys, but we've been here before. It was just a game ago. Now, they have every tool available to them. They've been able to win these fights. Clown Gaming has looked the sloppiest they have been this series. We'll have to see if Monkeys is able to close this game out and force a game 4.
Yeah, even with handing over that shutdown, they're still in the gold lead, so.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of interesting. About 1,000 gold still between top laners here. But the gap was closed. And I think this Darius, you know, despite some shortcomings in the 1v1 in the lane, is still really, really strong in this teamfight comp that Monkeys has elected to take. Monkeys has the gold lead, still has some outer towers to take. Mid should fall. And it does. 2k now is the gold lead. And Monkeys is here dictating the tempo. Charm comes out onto Keki. Keki able to E away. Nighthawk goes in aggressively. A bound as well. Charm found on a Nighthawk. But nothing will come of it. T1 Jace on the backside though. On to Onset. Big feather pullback. Ultimate as well. T1 Jace taken very, very low, but still alive. Another giant pullback. A bound. And T1 Jace go down. Triple kill coming out from Darius. And Oosley on the backside of this fight, keeping everybody in check, resilient, doing their best, doing their darnest. But it will be, oh, not a quadra from Vendetta. Onset still doing their job, still wants to get some kills into their pocket, but a massive 2 for 4, 1 fight for Monkeys leads to a tier 2.
Yeah, and even for the Clowns, it felt like they used everything to dive on the ADC there, and they still couldn't catch them.
Yeah, we're seeing how slippery this eye can be, and there's a reason why I was picked. Great adaptation from game 2 to game 3. They're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna build leads, and I'm gonna build the leads on a carry that is almost impossible to kill. So
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if this series goes to game 4, if Isaiah warrants a ban. Because so far, Clown Gaming has shown that they want to go in and go in often. And Zaya really, really good at nullifying that.
Yeah, you're right. That was a great adaptation. It almost felt like a repeat of that Ashe fight, except he got away.
Yeah, this Baron actually started up by a bound, calling the bluff of Monkeys. They know Monkeys wants to be at this dragon to stop the soul from coming through, as Slayer finds another move onto Wookiee Monster. T1 Jace going aggressive, but Slayer with this Rylai's I think is okay. However, the ultimate was used, should it dissipate before finding anybody else, but this Wukong is caught between a rock and a hard place here, and I'm curious to see how aggressive they are in this pursuit, as we see Vendetta actually staring down a 3v1. Riley Sauce is here. A big Amumu ultimate coming through, a bound taken so low. Unable to be saved by the Tom Kench, because Tom Kench just exploded. 2-for-0 trade for Monkeys. And King's coming out onto the Baron side. If you're Monkeys, you should secure this soul, but they're opting in for Baron.
They're going for the classic get to soul, or
Vendetta taken, actually spotted out by a Resilient W, taken so low. Resilient actually flashing forward to pick up the kill, went actually Ari's way. And so Vendetta falls, Baron secured by Monkeys, but now they're gonna have to contest this dragon that's already so low, and dragon's already secured. Slayer caught by the charm, taken down as well, and so only 3 members with this Baron buff. And I think a mistake was made. I really think Monkeys should have done a better job of denying that soul instead.
Maybe they're just a step ahead. They're playing for the Elder.
Yeah, true. But it'll be interesting to see how they use this Baron buff, because you opted into the Baron buff. Now, granted, neither of your solo laners have it now. You're going to have to put a lot of pressure in the mid lane with Onset, with Keki, or with whatever lane they choose to go to make this Baron buff work, right? Because you're right. If you can get even more of an advantage before this Elder buff, or this Elder Dragon comes through, securing Elder will be easy if Baron is utilized correctly. About a 5k gold lead for Monkeys. Biggest gold lead that they've had this series so far.
I think with GA on Zaya, they might be able to force something with Baron here and just end the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're just running it down mid, right? And Swain actually has the TP available to him. Wukong does not. So Wukong has to find either a safe way to back, or it looks like they're going to try to pinch through this mid lane. And Riley Sauce taken very low. Ultimate does come out. A bound taken low as well. Pullback, unable to find anyone. But Vendetta and Slayer are here. The solo laners making their presence known, but on the backside, Riley Sauce does go down. Ultimate coming through the Wukong. Resilient followed as well. Onset taken very, very low. Does have the GA. GA will be popped. Slayer doing their best to give Onset a fighting chance. Resilient taken so low, but does not go down. Slayer, the only one left. And that turns into a 2 for 5. That's an ace.
Yeah, and throughout that fight, it looked like it was going pretty well for the Monkeys. Until it didn't.
Yeah, as soon as the Swain ultimate went away, it's a lot easier for Clown Gaming to fight. Now, granted, you know, Monkeys didn't have the fight go their way, but they did have the inhibitor go down. So you'll take the small wins where you can get them. We'll have to see how much Clown Gaming is able to do on the back of that ace.
Yeah, as much as that ace looks bad, this game still looks like the best chance the Monkeys have had, so.
Yeah, able to open up that map with the inhibitor taken. We talked about it, right? They really had to make use of that Baron buff before Elder. So they will have Baron, or they will have, Siege super minions flying into their base. Clown Gaming will. But we'll have to see. I mean, it's been 3 games of uncontested, almost uncontested Drakes for Clown Gaming. And if it's Elder, you really don't want to give that one uncontested, right?
Yeah, the fear is, even with the mid pushing, they might not contest the dragon, since it's been such a habit for them. It sounds like that's a difficult task to do, so hopefully this is the one dragon where they have Prio.
Yep, about 2 minutes until that neutral objective comes up. Similar timers, minute 53 on the Baron. Now, there is a world in which Monkeys can opt for the Baron and then just run straight mid and try to end the game. I don't suggest it. So we see T1 Jace going aggressively into the Swain. Opts to back away. Doesn't know where the rest of the team is. But right now, it's tempo is favored for Clown Gaming around this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, it looks like even with the mid and him being down, the Clowns are the ones getting Prio mid.
And you were talking about Resilient. Talking a little bit of smack before the game. You know, the early game didn't go well, but now 666, 350 gold shutdown on this Kaisa. Able to claw their way back in this game.
Feels like he's been playing the last few fights really well, so maybe that's where all the confidence is coming from. He knows even if he's behind, he can make a difference in the game.
A little bit of a lull before this Elder Dragon spawns here in 30 seconds. We see red buff to be secured.
Looks like they'll have Prio mid.
Yep. Monkeys doing their best to clear out the vision that has been placed down by Clown Gaming Blood Moon. And it really feels like this game the series even might come down to a single team fight around this objective. As we see Onset potentially caught out by Wookiee. Onset goes down so early in the fight. However, Slayer is here to maybe pick up the slack. Silver Nighthawk stopped in their tracks. C1J is going to ult aggressively, but doing so much work with this Swain ultimate. Ari able to get their back off. Might be the saving grace. Otherwise, this might have been game 3 going the way of Monkeys, and maybe they just decide to force it.
Yeah, they're looking for the end. It looked like the Clowns got out there at one point with a decent trade, and then they went back in.
Well, and it looks so dire, right? Onset got caught out so early. So much of that gold, so much of that lead for Monkeys just one shot basically at the very start. And Slayer, a nice dodge under the charm, but now all 3 members of Monkeys are really low. Elder is up. Charm barely missing out. Wookiee taking him so low and will be caught out by a resilient W ultimate Q combo.
And just like that, the game's completely flipped in the opposite direction now.
Yeah, I think, over forcing their hand, trying to end the game when the neutral was there, the safer play was there. And now it's going to come down to if Riley, off-roll Riley, can steal this Elder Dragon. About half HP. Goes in, finds the ultimate. Smite goes the way of a bound. Elder buff secured. Onset doing all they can to make sure that their playoff dreams stay alive. But unfortunately, actually big E coming through, but will go down. And it seems like all hope is lost for Monkeys. Now granted, the game's not over. They did have that, the pushing inhib mid. So won't be able to end off the back of that fight. Slayer on the Swain is up, but should be an uncontested Baron for Con Gaming.
Yeah, and I think even if this game doesn't go their way, this game was at least a brighter way to end the series and the split than what was going on game 1 and 2 for the Monkeys.
Now we will have to see if Clown Gaming Blood Moon can close this game out. The game has been flipped. Momentum is definitely on their side. They have both the Baron and the Elder. But all the inner towers are still standing for Monkeys. And we all know the game's not over until the Nexus explodes.
Great lesson for anyone looking for solo queue later tonight.
Yep. Also, just turn off chat, play the game. Which is what Monkeys are gonna have to do here, right? I don't think anybody's all chatting back and forth, but they really gotta focus up. Backs against the wall, down to the facing an Elder Baron Wombo combo from Clown Gaming. But they still have a really good teamfight comp, right? And we've seen the power of it. A lot of these lost fights just come off of mental mistakes. Either overextending in the mid lane, getting caught out from the Zaya.
Elder nearly timed out here too.
Tier 3 goes down. This inhibitor tower, bot and mid goes down. Mid and bot inhib goes down. Clown Gaming is homing in on a game 3 win. And it's now or never if you are Monkeys. T1J is going forward, unable to find Onset. Onset able to take down the Monkey King. Slayer doing so much work with this ultimate. And they're actually winning this fight despite the Elder buff actually timing out during the middle of it. And it's Onset against the world, facing down 2 Baron buffs in Wookiee Monster and Silver Nighthawk. And Onset is gonna have to put their hero pants on, but this Nexus is going down so far. Actually finds a double root. So much damage. Wookiee Monster and Silver Nighthawk able to secure or 3-0 sweep for Cloud Gaming Blood Moon. So, Clown Gaming showing why they're the number 1 seed, right? Games 2 and 3, facing a goal deficit, able to come out victorious. However, might have shown some chinks in their armor. Cage Monkeys showing the power of team fight comps, specifically into the all engaged that Cloud Gaming like to show. And if you're Cage Monkeys, you can kind of hang your hat on a series well fought, but Cloud Gaming Blood Moon obviously proved to be too much, too overpowering um, for the side of Monkeys, securing that 3-0 sweep. Obviously, sarcasm here. You've played against it was Clown Gaming, right?
Yep, Cloud.
You saw how Monkeys fared. Looking at the rest of this playoff bracket, what chances are you giving Clown Gaming to go all the way and secure themselves an LXC Crusader title?
I'd say 70%.
70%?
Yeah, I
Okay.
it depends on whether or not this type of comp is something they like solely rely on to function. Because a lot of
Okay.
those comps had a small range and relied on being able to dive. And if there's any team who can create a comp like what we saw in this last game, but execute it just a little bit better, I think even if Cloud Gaming are the better players, they'll have a really hard time beating the comp.
And for all you just tuning in off the back of that 3-0 series sweep from Clown Gaming Blood Moon, Roar Crusader picks up a 3-0 of their own. Will be Clown Gaming's matchup in semis. Going to be an interesting matchup to watch for sure. Um, both teams coming off strong 3-0 showings. I will say Blood Moon has a lot to learn from the series, right? They obviously showed that they're very, very good players and that their macro game solid. Their understanding of how and when and where they should be was not really matched by Cage Monkeys. However, Cage Monkeys did a lot to show maybe some weaknesses of Blood Moon. Specifically, like you said, that all in engage comps that they like to show. Zaya might be something to look out for if they're Roar. But maybe Blood Moon just walks away and says, "Hey, we'll just ban it for the rest of the time." With that being said, sarcasm. Any departing words before we close out the
Uh,
quarterfinals?
it was a pleasure getting the cast and with you and everyone else on this stream team. And thanks to everyone watching and the players for making this possible.
Yep. Cage Monkeys, CG Blood Moon, thank you so much for such a thrilling quarterfinals matchup here at LXC Crusader. For Sarcasm, for producer Golden, for everybody LXC, thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next week for semifinals.